5-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
He's kind and he's funny and he's also mustachioed. He solves all your problems by the end of every episode. TV Dad. Everyone loves TV Dad. TV Dad. Unlike your real dad, he never hollers. And he tells you how Progressive can save you lots of dollars.
Listen to your TV Dad. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas, turn around, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh, my.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball begins with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're counting down to tip-off of Arizona basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Angle left, it goes to Love. He'll drive into the lane. Shot good off the glass, right over the top of O'Meara. Vasar, feed it left corner. Carter Bryant squares for three. That rattles home. Lewis, throw it inside for a Waka. Catch it, lay it in.
Did a great job getting to the front of the rim, making himself big, showing KJ that big hand. KJ delivers it for the easy high percentage too.
KJ now gets to midcourt. Here comes the double team. Bounce it ahead to Love. Love going to drive right into the lane and dunk it over the top of O'Meara. A poster job on O'Meara for Caleb Love.
Big time finish there by C. Love with the right hand hammer.
Jaden leave it for Vasar High. Going to throw inside for a Waka and lay it in for two. Right over the top of O'Meara. Edgecombe to inbound it. Throw it out to Nunn, stolen almost by Lewis. Nunn gets it back, throws up an air ball. Final score here in Waco. Wildcats 74, Baylor Bears 67. Road win in the Big 12. Only the second home loss for the Bears this season.
It is basketball night in Arizona. The Wildcats are back at McHale Center taking on the BYU Cougars. The rematch. These two teams duked it out just, 18 days ago. So not that long ago up in Provo, a game that the Wildcats won by 11 points. So the return match. First visit for the Cougars to McHale Center since that famed December night in 2009 when Jimmer Fredette absolutely lit up the joint to the tune of a record 49 points in a 30-point Arizona win, BYU win over a Sean Miller Arizona coach team. One of, if not the best performances I think I've ever seen of a visiting player against the Arizona Wildcats. I think that was my second season here at the university, covering the University of Arizona. So the Cougars are back. Is this the birth of a rivalry? I've been talking about it for over a year now. I think this is going to be one of the new rivals for your Arizona Wildcats in this conference. It remains to be seen. We'll ask a number of people that question as we go on here today. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Gameday is the show. My name is David Kelly, and we've got you for another 3 hours. I've got the captain. He is Kelvin Ifan, U of A basketball class of 1998. We've also got, as always, J.W. Madden joining us as well. Let's let you know what we've got coming up for you over the course of the next 3 hours.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
We'll take a look back at the win down in Texas over the Baylor Bears on Monday night. Now, 5 days between games. What are we doing here? Seems like we play games back-to-back, and then we get a bunch of days off. But Tommy Lloyd, in fact, gave his guys a couple of days rest ahead of this game against BYU. We'll preview the Cougars. Your first look at the game is brought to you by Window Depot. Spotlight on a Cat. Brian Jeffries on the Coaches Show this week, caught up with KJ Lewis. We'll hear a little bit from KJ on how he is handling being a guy that can do everything for this ball club. DK with TL, fire again this week. We'll ask the head coach about his pick-and-roll defense as it relates to three-point shooters, Anthony Del Orso, and his ability to get to the basket, and a whole lot more coming up. DK with TL. Also, special interview. We're going to chat with Clancy Shields, the tennis coach for the Arizona men's tennis team. Big win yesterday over at the Robson Tennis Center as the number 14 Cats took down 7th-ranked San Diego 4-0. Jay Drew from the Deseret News in Salt Lake City will deliver your scouting report. As always, though, we want to hear from you as well. 520-848-1290. That's the telephone number. You can call us. You can text us. Your thoughts on Arizona basketball. You can also interact on any of our social media platforms. We have video of this show right now on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch. We might get the Instagram going a little bit later as well. And you can listen, as always, on your mobile devices, the wildcatsradio1290.com. Download our app, or on any of your Google Play, Alexa. Just tell them you want Wildcats Radio 1290. And you can listen to our show. Wildcats knocked off the Baylor Bears, a much-needed victory to snap a 2-game losing streak for Arizona. Tommy Lloyd on getting that key road win.
The biggest thing I thought we did well was show up with energy. I mean, I thought our approach was going to be critical to this game. Obviously, we're coming off a 2-game skid, against good teams, one on the road, one at home. We felt like, we had opportunities to win both those games, and you just don't want to let a third one slip through, but you're at Baylor. I mean, it's a coin toss type game if you're lucky. So I just thought we did a good job showing up with energy. And obviously Henry and Tobe, we kind of played our bigger lineup, which we haven't done much today. I thought they were great. So, Henry is he's turning into Hank right in front of our eyes. So I'm super proud of him.
Do you feel like that comment you made about, worry about being an ass kicking in this game, did you carry that message to the guys too, and did that make a difference, do you think?
What comment did I make to you?
You were saying you all thought we were going to get our ass kicked, is what you said. We thought.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I was getting myself juiced up. So I knew coming in here today that losing was a possibility, and there's no shame in it. Scott does an amazing job, but I also knew today's win was important for our season and our team, and we approached it as such.
Gotta love how coaches do. They don't remember. What did I say? Did I say that? I don't remember any of that. It's Tommy Lloyd for you. The big decision, obviously, that came out of that game, Tommy's decision to start Henry Vasar for the first time in his college career, starting him alongside Toby Awaka in place of Trey Townsend. Tommy going big. What about that decision, Coach?
It's been something that's been on my mind for a while. And, it's no demotion for anyone. I've been wanting to play this big lineup for a while, and when Trey went out, we got a few opportunities to try it a little bit more. And then last game, I wanted to do it a little bit more, but I found once the flow of the game got going, fouls dictate a lot of your subs. So let's say Tobe gets an early foul, Henry subs for him. And then Henry plays 6 minutes in a row and maybe he's a little bit fatigued, so then Tobe subs for him. I just didn't find a sweet spot where I could play both of them together. So, when I got home and kind of started, going through my thoughts, I thought this might be a good opportunity to try it.
Yeah, and again, it is what it is from the standpoint of, you make a change to the lineup. One guy is going in, one guy is going out. A guy going out had been starting the whole season, so you can call it's not a demotion, but it's still a change that affects your lineup. And that player that is no longer in the starting lineup has to view that how they're going to view it, guys, and do what they need to do to potentially put themselves back in that starting lineup.
Well, I feel like because, we're talking about Townsend right now, and I feel like because you're talking about a guy that's a graduate, a fifth-year senior, I think that conversation is a little bit easier than if you were dealing with a young freshman or a sophomore just getting their first opportunity to start. I think when you had a senior that started the whole time, that's coming off a concussion, that's understanding that Vasar actually played well versus Baylor the last time, so it's bigger than just wanting to make a change, is that Vasar also played well versus Baylor last time. So giving them a chance to start there, you have to understand. KJ Lewis sacrificed. Different guys have sacrificed on this team. Del Orso at different times has sacrificed. Carter has sacrificed. So it's just a part of the culture of the team, if you ask me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's different everybody has a different purpose for, what their individual goals and their motivations are. And Trey Towns has never struck me as the kind of guy who's a me kind of guy. Obviously, everybody, Kelvin, wants to start. Right. I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to be one of the 5 starters. But Trey coming in here, I think his whole thing is just wanting to help the team any way he can. And clearly, he's certainly proud of what Henry Vesar is doing. He has to be. His teammate has kind of flourished a little bit. A lot of people didn't think he would maybe get as much playing time as he has at the start of the season. And so that change, like Coach just said right there, was just an opportunity to see what that big lineup might look like. We all know Coach Lloyd likes the high-low, Kelvin. Mm-hmm. So because Mo Krivas is out for the year, they haven't really had that big-to-big kind of thing. So experimenting with it a little bit in a situation where Trey's coming off that, hard hit on the floor, I think it's a good time to do it. And I don't know Trey Townsend personally, but it doesn't come off as the kind of guy who's really upset about the idea of having a game. And Coach said it's a fluid thing. It's not a demotion. We may just see Trey Townsend back in the starting lineup tonight.
We shall see for sure. We'll hear more from Tommy Lloyd on that coming up a little bit later. Henry Vesar, again, making his first collegiate start, and the adjustment that he had to make going from coming off the bench to now being there when the ball was tipped.
We just know you got to step up, and you just got to be ready from the moment you don't kind of get to look at a game and kind of feel it out like when you come off the bench. But you're still basketball. You're just used to playing.
Used to playing, and the ability of this team now to take advantage, especially with that particular ball game where Baylor was dealing with some height issues, injuries, obviously, to one of their big men out for the season. And then, of course, Norchad O'Meara being the only real frontline big man that they had. Henry knew that was going to be an opportunity for the Wildcats to take advantage of the Bears inside.
We knew that we also had a 2 big lineup, so we knew that they're kind of get smaller when they take him out. So I think Toby did an amazing job sealing, and he's just such a big presence down there, so it was easy to find him. And in offensive rebound, we just all got to crash because we know we got a height advantage down there.
Henry Vesar has been a force at the defensive end of the floor as well as the offensive end of the floor. He had 13 points in that game at Baylor, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, had 2 steals. He has had at least 1 blocked shot now in 11 straight games for the Arizona Wildcats. Another player that had a pretty good ball game down in Waco was Anthony Del Orso. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Tommy wanted to make sure that he pointed out the play of Anthony Del Orso.
Anthony, it hasn't come easy for him, and I've really encouraged him to hunt more shots and just become more of a catch-and-shoot threat. And I thought he gave us some great minutes tonight and really, really helped us out. He didn't get to close the game, but I thought, his early contributions, should not go unnoticed.
Well, has that been partly just defensively?
I mean, listen, there's a little bit there, but the other deal is listen, this kid can really shoot the ball. So, I think he's just got to put on his shooting hat more and a little less of his dribbling hat and hunt, catch, and shoot shots. The beautiful thing about him, he is good enough off offense. If it is a hard closeout, he can put the ball on the ground. But I want him to be a shoot first and ask questions guy later.
Yeah, I didn't know, defensively, though, if there's matches where you just...
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're always making those decisions. But this is what I know. If he's out there stroking threes, that other coach is not feeling good when he has an open catch and shoot shot. So we gotta in order for us to get to our ceiling, we've got to capitalize on everybody on our team, maximizing their opportunities and their roles.
Now, Anthony Del Orso has struggled behind the 3-point line in recent games. It goes now back 7 games. He's hit just 2 of his last 17 3-point shots. So we can now call that a little bit of a slump. At what point, guys, do coaches say, okay, that's 7 games. We're going to sag off him and make him make a few before we jump out and guard him at that 3-point line?
Well, when you come into a game, you have game plan to guard different guys different ways. When you come into a game against Del Orso, I don't care at what point of the year, you're still going to guard him to make threes. As I told you guys before, when you have a guy that's willing to take that shot, a lot of times you have to guard him because he'll end up making the one that ends up breaking your back. So you still have to respect anybody, to me, that's a Division I player. I mean, it's the same as disrespecting KJ. You keep doing it for long, he's going to knock down a couple. So, but I think with a guy like Dart also, who's been a 44% shooter at different points of the season, he's a guy that regardless, when he's on the court, I think the other coaches are going to respect him and the other players. You can't let him get going.
Yeah, I mean, modern basketball is all perimeter-oriented. And so every defensive scout that a team puts together will have shooters on the list. This guy, we're going to work our coverages on any kind of pick and roll to make sure that this guy has a hand in his face at all times. And Del Orso, among the players on this year's team, guys, is right at the top of that list. It doesn't matter if he's 2 for 17. The form is nice, and he's proven that he can. I mean, he averaged, 20 at Campbell last year? So it doesn't really necessarily matter. However, the way it will work is if he goes 0 for 4 in his first bit, Kelvin, the intensity to get out on that shooter, because Arizona has so many great driving guards who are trying to get 2 feet in the paint, their first goal will to make sure that Del Orso feels uncomfortable, that he's got a guy right next to him, hand in his face, and as he throughout the course of the game, if he's not shooting well, those defenders may sag a tiny bit back, but they're not going to leave him because if you leave a guy like that open and he knocks 1 or 2 down, then the next time a hand's in his face, guess what? That ball's going in. You start to feel good about yourself. You get in rhythm. So they're trying to make sure, like a certain guy from BYU got in rhythm one day, 15 years ago. Right. You don't want to let shooters get in rhythm and start feeling themselves. And Del Orso is capable of that, and opponents know that.
And he did take 5 in that game at Baylor, which was the most three-point shots he had taken since he had taken 9. And that was in the game before the slump, the game against Colorado here at McHale Center when he hit those 6 of 9. It's been the 7 games since then where the struggles had started, but he was only taking 2 to 4 in those 7 games. He took 5. So, again, we'll see if the confidence to take the 3 continues tonight for Anthony Del Orso.
And I'll say this, guys. A lot of times as a coach, when I'm playing a guy like him, that I understand that if we could take him away the first 5 or 6 minutes, the coach will actually take him away.
Right? Yeah, that's a great point, Kelvin,
right?
Because that's happened 3 or 4 times this year, right?
Right. If we can D him up and then go at him on offense the first 3 or 4 possessions, notice, pay attention whenever he's in there, they go right at him because they know that if they go at him and score a couple buckets, Tommy will take him out. So Tommy has to be patient and let him get through it. And to me also, I'm starting to blame the other defenders when his guys beat him because at some point as a teammate, I know we got to be help side on there also because guys are penetrating and trying to attack them. So that's a chance for a charge. That's a chance to get up and deflect some passes. That's an opportunity that you can use, to help create some things on defense because they're going to attack them.
And with 2 great perimeter defenders on the court with him at all times, right? I mean, because he's not going to be playing with guys who can't stay in front of their man. It's really just hunting those switches. So they're really just trying to get maybe their best perimeter offensive players switched off on Del Orso because KJ, Caleb are going to have that assignment, JB, as well.
All right, it is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Gameday, Wildcats, BYU. First game in a while against a team that is not ranked at McHale Center. But, hey, a team that's coming in here 8-6 and with a 3-game winning streak, so no slouch on the other bench tonight at McHale.
Try to tell the Jayhawks they aren't ranked.
Right, exactly. 34-point whooping. We'll get into that straight ahead. It was 91-57 in Provo on Tuesday night. Along with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Poston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Looking to upgrade your home? The Window Depot is your go-to spot for Milgard windows and patio doors. Select from a variety of styles, including aluminum, vinyl, or fiberglass, to start your journey to a brighter, more beautiful home. The Window Depot has Milgard windows in stock, ready to go home today, or their team can help you with a special order. Whether you're looking for energy efficiency, aesthetic appeal, or custom solutions, they've got you covered. Build the home you deserve with Milgard windows and doors from the Window Depot. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Hey, man. Yeah, it's me, your furnace, man. Hey, can I get a light here, man? I know we live in Arizona, so I understand I'm not, like as cool as your air conditioner. But I still need a tune-up at least once a year, man. So get the best in town, man. Goodfellas AC, bro. Hey, anybody smell that, man? I swear it wasn't me. Okay, it was me.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rocking K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining,
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
It's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and the spider, a scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Jaden Bradley will inbound. Tugler guarding the baseline. Bradley looking. No timeouts. Got to get it inbounds, and they'll throw it into Carter Bryant and lost it out of bounds. And Houston will win the game.
You guys all think we're going to go get our ass kicked. You guys do. You guys think we're going to get our ass kicked at Baylor because we're tired. We've been on a long stretch. We're going to play on the road game. Our heads are going to be down. Let's see what team shows up.
Well, the right team did show up down in Baylor to get the Wildcats off the schneid and back on the winning trail. Let's take a look at tonight's opponent, the BYU Cougars. Time now to take our first look at today's Arizona Wildcats men's basketball game. The first look of the game is brought to you by Window Depot. Lowest prices, biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com. It's a pretty even series. Arizona leads it all time, 21-19 after their 85-74 victory over the Cougars in Provo back on February the 4th. The last meeting between the two schools in Tucson, again, was December the 28th, 2009, when BYU won 99-69, 49 points for Jimmer Fredette.
That was like the freshman year of Derek Williams and all those guys, right?
Yeah,
Hill and whatever.
exactly. Yeah, that was that year.
There was a lot of freshmen on that team, Calvin.
Yeah, I remember.
Momo Jones.
Yeah, I remember that.
A lot of freshmen.
Those guys. We'll pull
Caught
up.
us at a good time.
We'll pull up that box score a little bit later and go through it. So the Cougars, again, come in here with a 3-game winning streak. You heard Tommy Lloyd and him trying to get his guys charged after that loss to the Houston Cougars last Saturday here at McHale Center. He was asked after the ball game about his ass-kicking comment and if he felt that that was needed to challenge his guys.
We challenge these guys every way we can. We're coaches. You know, we're manufacturing challenges and figuring out what we can. And you know, we got a good group of guys. You know, things haven't come easy for this team. You know, but I think that could also be, you know, a little bit life in the Big 12, and we're learning on the fly.
Is there a manufactured challenge for you, Kelvin, that comes to mind, either as a player or a coach, something that was just kind of out there where you knew, yeah, he's just trying to get us motivated?
I mean, you know, as a coach, man, you're always trying to figure out a way to get the guys motivated and understanding that, you know, you're wearing Arizona across your chest, you know, and it's tough sometimes because when you was in the Pac-10, a lot of the teams can't compete with you like that. But I don't think it's as tough in the Big 12. I think the guys see exactly what's in front of them and understand, you know, what the situation is. But, man, I had, from Coach Tomey to Coach Olsen, man, I had so many different times where, you know, coaches then came up with different things and, you know, through the media and to us personally, you know, to try to get you going.
That reminded me of his tirade there, if you want to call it a tirade, his outburst. Kind of reminded me in baseball terms of when the manager gets himself thrown out of a game to try to charge up the team. That's kind of what it reminded me of.
And it just made me think of one from Coach Tomey. I think it was the best one. We was at Oregon. We lost to Oregon. And I ain't gonna lie, we was on a nice plane. We ate all the best food and steaks and dinners and stuff. And
the Wendy's story?
That's Coach Olsen.
Okay,
it's Coach Tomey. Coach Tomey said, "You guys deserve beans. You don't deserve steak and lobsters and those Snickers and candy." Because we would have Snickers and ice creams. And I mean, I was just like, man, we okay. And man, I swear, the next time it felt like we was on a plane with just one engine. It just like it didn't even have. I was telling the guys, man, we got to win, man. Next time we going to be on the bus. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man.
You guys sitting by the side of the road, huddled around a campfire with a bunch of cans of beans warming up.
You feel me? Like, hey, it was like, you got to deserve beans. I was like, go get some cornbread with that.
All right, Tommy, obviously BYU is coming in here off a 91-57 win over Kansas. Was that something that was discussed with the players this week?
We haven't really even talked about that yet. I mean, I hope our guys are paying attention. But, the game at BYU, it's a little misleading. We kind of, it's one of those games. It's very even throughout, with 8 minutes to go or something. We kind of made a run at the right time. And they tried to come back and missed some of the shots. And, we were able to kind of, win at the end comfortably. But it wasn't like it was from the tip. It was domination. So, we know it's going to be an evenly matched game, and I also know, I've played against BYU a lot. I know there's some character in that program, and there's going to be a response, and they're going to come down here, with the mindset of getting a win, and so we're going to have to approach it the same way.
The BYU Kansas game. It seems like nationally the perspective is Kansas is slipping, et cetera, but you just went up to BYU.
Listen, I BYU played great. Kansas didn't. When it was impressive. There's, no reason for me to draw any opinions on Kansas because we don't play them for a few weeks. But BYU looked great. They had their way with them every which way, And so obviously they're going to be feeling really good about themselves, coming down here.
Anything jump out at you defensively maybe with them, or anything jump out that look different when you watch that game versus when you guys played them?
I mean, everything they did in the BYU in the Kansas game worked. That's what stuck out to me. Their defensive game plan worked. Their offensive execution worked. And it's not very often you go into a game, especially against a great opponent where everything you do works. So obviously, they had a great game plan that their staff put together, and their players, executed it almost to perfection. So that tells me you have a team that's, playing with a lot of belief, and a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, after the game, head coach Kevin Young was asked if he thought this was the best 40 minutes that his team had played, and he was like, yeah, well, obviously, anytime you can beat a team the caliber of Kansas by that amount. And I guess the thing that a lot of people are going to be asking was that a more byproduct of and yes, BYU is getting more confident and they're playing a lot better basketball. Was that win more about what BYU is doing, or is that more about the struggles of the Kansas Jayhawks?
A little bit of both. I think a little bit of both. I think Kansas underestimated them a little bit sometimes when you bring a lot of transfers in. Those guys think that you're going to win just because you're Kansas. Mm-hmm. And you have to understand, teams like BYU are looking for that opportunity to beat a Kansas, same as I always say about Arizona, to beat that name on across their chest. Whereas a lot of times these days, the guys that are in those jerseys don't quite understand what the tradition that they're really playing for.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of talk about Arizona's 4 and 5 start guys, but in case people forgot, the Kansas Jayhawks were the number 1 ranked preseason team in America. The number 1 ranked team in America. Their record is currently 18-9, and guys, all but 2 of their losses in conference, they have 7 losses, are to unranked teams. So you talk about that Jayhawks team struggling. Clearly, BYU's game plan and execution was on point that day. I mean, you don't win a game by 30. But yes, Kansas is having some problems. They're having some issues with some of the guys that are meant to step up, Kelvin, not getting into that role this year the way that their coach wants them to. So, yeah, I mean, Kansas is in a little bit of trouble now. They've lost 3 out of their last 5.
3 out of their last 5 and slipping out of contention for a chance to win another Big 12 conference championship in the regular season, something that they have done a lot of in recent years. Here's one stat that really stood out from that win by BYU. In the first half, how about 15 field goals made on 15 assists by the BYU offense? Dallin Hall on the efficiency of the Cougars.
I thought our spacing was really elite, our pace, and then we just shared the ball, and that's kind of something that has been a huge emphasis for us all year, is making the right play for our teammates, playing for each other, and I think that shows why we had the effect we did in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty impressive number. Even Kevin Young was a little bit astonished when he heard that one.
It's a product of, our coaching staff and what we do in practice, and the players, buy into the way we want to play. I mean, that's an amazing stat. Someone told me that at halftime. It's incredible. So, I think it speaks to, we're a little different than a lot of teams in this league. We're not. A lot of teams are rolling out these bruiser 4s that beat you up, and we're doing it more with space and pace and ball movement. And so tonight, it was clicking.
Let's, before we hear more from the Cougars, let's pause here for station identification. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, getting you set for the Wildcats and the BYU Cougars. My name is David Kelly. I've got Calvin Ifan, the captain. J.W. Madden is here as well. Tip-off coming up at 8 o'clock tonight at McHale Center, another Saturday night. The building will be packed, I'm sure. Basketball night in Arizona. BYU coming in off a 34-point win over the Kansas Jayhawks. Dallin Hall and Trevin Nell on what that victory meant to this program.
We're just hitting our stride right now at the right time of year, playing our best brand of basketball. and we're less concerned with the opponent in front of us and more concerned with executing our side of things, the game plan on both sides. And so I thought we did a really good job of that. And like I said, we're hitting our stride and trying to put the country on notice.
Trevin, where does this one rank, this night, this win amongst games you've played in your career?
Well, there's been a lot. But
There's been a lot. There has been a lot.
This ranks pretty high. Like, this is a special win, especially doing it in front of our fans. It was really cool. Like, I feel like the energy from the start of the whistle to the end of the whistle was there. Everybody was super loud, and I'll say it every single time, I think the Meridian Center is the best place to play in the country. So I think it really showed, and it was a really special win for sure.
Well, and it was a win they absolutely needed, and you've heard Tommy Lloyd a couple of times in recent weeks talk about teams that are desperate, and this is a team that is trying to work its way back in. They're, according to Joe Lenardi earlier this week, his latest bracketology, they're in the tournament as an 11 seed, but they didn't have a whole lot of quad one wins, and in fact, they only had 2, I believe, going into that game against Kansas. 2-7 was the mark. Now they're 3-7, so that wasn't an important victory for them to get, Kevin Young says.
I think it was really important. I don't really talk about a lot of that with our players. We just try to, like I said, stack good days, but I know what the deal is. I know we need to get a win against a notable opponent, and we got to continue to do that. This was a big game, for the league standings as well, and hopefully, honestly, I'm still learning all the selection committee and this, that, the other. I just know just win the game, and then there's good things that happen because of it. But, it is cool, though, to be on ESPN, to have people watching what we're doing, and hopefully people take note that need to take note.
Yeah, because even Tommy Lloyd admitted this week, guys, this is the time of year. Yeah, you are looking a little bit to see what the standings look like, where your placement is, because like J-Dub has said, you're trying to get that bye in Kansas City, and only the top 4 are going to get those byes. So you want to be in that position, or in BYU's case, you want to see what you got to do to get to that position.
Kelvin, real quick, how many times in the last, 8 years working together, we talked about how there aren't a lot of high net ranking wins on the horizon for Arizona, so they better get this one versus UCLA, right? Or USC. We've said it every year. Every year. I'm looking at the net rankings right now. Colorado is 99th. That means that every single Big 12 team is in the top 100 RPI, our net ranking. There is obviously it's 75 and above is quad 1 or whatever. But think about that difference, Kelvin. BYU is right now 30th. They don't have any bad losses, by the way. That's the big thing. They're 7-0 in the lower quads. But the idea of the conference having so many tough teams, and they're all playing each other every single week, twice a week, there are a lot of opportunities, DK. So these desperate teams who you might think are on the outside looking in, string a couple of good weeks together and really kind of get your footing, and they could be right back on that bubble if they're not already there.
And imagine when they were in the Pac-10, they couldn't say that to their team. So that's why a lot of times there wasn't big upsets, because their team already knew that they basically was out of it. Even if they beat Arizona, they couldn't get enough quad 1 wins to put themselves in position. So that's different in this league. They like J-Dub just said, they understand if they put together a string of wins, they can find themselves square in the position that they want to be as far as playing in the tournament.
Just to put a button on that, there are 4 top 10 net ranking teams right now. Arizona's 9th, and there are 9 in the top 50. Cincinnati's the lowest at 46. So 9 top 50 net ranked teams right now. That's a lot of wins on the schedule that can bump your resume up as far as the committee is concerned come Selection Sunday.
All right, BYU, Arizona tip-off is just under 3 hours away. And that's our first look at today's Arizona Wildcats men's basketball game. The first look at the game is brought to you by Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com. And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every game. It's the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. Could be somebody from the other team. We'll tell you the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the game coming up tonight on the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day post-game show. Much more straight ahead. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was. And even better, Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
I love my weekend rides across Arizona. I travel with all the protection I need. Helmet, gloves, leathers, and the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle fights hard to help injured riders across the state. Whether we're cruising through Carefree, slow riding in Sedona, or breezing through Bisbee, they find you doctors, manage medical bills, and get you back on your bike with the most money possible. Injured riding? The bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. Maybe a few family ones, too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Discover Rocking K, a community designed by nature, built for you. Embrace the beauty of the Rincon Mountains' high desert foothills. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park. Bordering Saguaro National Park, Rocking K is conveniently located to our region's major employers and nationally recognized Vail School District. Tour 10 model homes by 4 award-winning builders and discover why more people are calling Rocking K home. LiveRockingK.com. Proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Arizona with the lead, under 3 to go in the first half. TCU with the ball. Robinson between the rings. Get to Posey, knocked away by Lewis. KJ sends it inbounds to Love. Caleb on the run, slam it home.
Turnovers leading to fast breaks.
That was beautiful. Fans on their feet.
Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. KJ Lewis got another chance to go back to Texas and play in front of family and friends this past week. Grew up here in Tucson, went to high school for part of his career in El Paso before his final year in Dallas. Sophomore, one of 12 players right now in the country that is averaging double figures in points. He's got 10 points per ball game and also has 80 assists, 80 or more assists, 35 or more steals, and 20 or more block shots. One of 12 players that is in that realm.
Are you surprised by those stats?
Not really.
Yeah,
no. Maybe the block shot one, I would say. I wouldn't.
No.
No?
What? He got bounced. KJ gonna chase you down.
He's
he
long
blocked
too.
Jump shots.
Yeah, he's long. He's got great anticipation.
Yeah. He blocked jump shots. He blocked guys he chased down and blocked guys trying to, get fast breaks. And
the big thing
is
is
get guys from behind.
The big thing is he doesn't have quit, right? I mean, like he never gives up on a play. So you talk about guys who block shots or guys who don't like just shrug their shoulders and think, oh, he got by me, whatever. Like KJ is always in every play.
Brian Jeffries had KJ Lewis on the Tommy Lloyd radio show earlier this week, and they talked just about that, how KJ does a little bit of everything well and how he's been able to do so many things well on the court for Arizona.
I mean, I take, a lot of pride into it just because, I like winning and I feel like I'm a winner. So anything I can do to, impact the game in a winning way, I'm going to try my best to, whether it's, scoring, trying to get my teammates involved, playing the best defense I can play, and rebounding is, something that we emphasize all the time. So that's a non-negotiable right there. But just trying to win is the biggest thing.
You played every game last year. You're a big contributor as a true freshman. How much did you learn last year that maybe you've taken to another level this season?
Just a lot. Poise. The game has slowed down for me a lot. I felt like last year, obviously every freshman goes through it. Being sped up in certain situations and rushed. So this year, just trying to breathe a lot more out there and let the game come to me. And, the game slowing down, I think that's probably the biggest thing I took.
Try and describe for us, I've heard that before, how the game slows down. It doesn't mean that when you get out on the court that literally you're seen in slow motion, but take us through how that happens for a player.
Just, certain, like on offense, certain, defensive coverages, how to attack it, what to look for, and then on defense, how to really execute a scout, and how to guard players and the tendencies that they have. So it's just little things within the game. The game is always going to be played fast, but just slowing down your mind and slowing down how you read the game is what I meant.
I don't know if you've had discussions with Carter Bryant about that, but you can kind of see it now in his play, whereas the second half of the season rolls on, that you can tell the game is slowing down for him. Do you see that in practice as well?
No, definitely. I mean, every practice, Carter isn't he's improving, and it's good to have the team that we have, a deep team, so we can compete, and so he gets those real live game reps, and then as the season goes on, he's going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue to slow down for him, and he's going to continue to improve. And
somebody was asking me about playing on the road, first time in the Big 12, every arena you go into, the crowd is into the game. It's just as we thought. It's as advertised. What is it like for a player, though, when you get into that atmosphere? Let's just take the Monday game at Baylor. You got 7,500 people making a heck of a lot of noise. Is it a help, or do you have to kind of figure it out as the game goes on?
I think it's kind of a little bit of both. As competitors, you love being on the road to get that little, competitive juices going. And then also, you got to come together as a team and as a unit, and really execute what the coach has down for us. And I think when you're on the road, it's really y'all versus however many people are in the arena, and I mean that's the best feeling because you're with the the best group of guys.
So I know you had a lot of fans there because you're a West Texas guy, and of course at Waco. But I think I've seen, I don't know if it's your family or some of your family, I don't know if they've been to every game, but it seems like it. Every time I turn around, I see somebody with your jersey on. So what does that mean to you to have them out?
It means a lot. They're my backbone. My family loves basketball, and they support me. And it kind of helps, the Big 12. There's a bunch of Texas teams, and we played, a decent amount of time in Texas. And, obviously they're going to come to every home game. McHale is the best. So, but, having their support at all away games is, big time.
All right, so take us through your defense, because it is one of the strong points of your game. And Coach talked about that in depth just a few minutes ago. The learning curve, when you came out of high school, or let's go back to high school, did you feel you were a good defender in high school?
Yeah, definitely. I went to a high school with, lottery picks and guys who really, love basketball and who are really, good one-on-one players. And then at our high school, we're probably one of the best defensive teams in the country in high school, and really the whole practice, all we did was defense.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I got it from.
So that was part of your DNA when you arrived. So how much have you, I don't want to use the word improve, but where have you come defensively from, again, last year to this year?
I think my off-ball defense is way better. Being in the right spots off the ball, learning what plays to make and what not to. And then also just, again, reading the game, where I need to be, when I need to be there. Yeah. And then obviously just, one-on-one defense when I'm on the ball. But off the ball is, I think, something I improved on the most.
It's obvious you love playing physical defense. You've learned to play physical defense without fouling. Early in games, because you have different officiating crews, is there a time there early in the game when you kind of got to get a read on the officials as to how much contact you're allowed?
Yeah. See, I'm still learning that part. There's a few games where I pick up early fouls just off of aggression, probably coming in a little too excited off the bench. But just trying to, read the game and read how the game is being played is something I need to be better at when I'm on the bench watching how the refs are officiating, and watching the flow of the game. I think I can be better at that part, so when I get in, I know where to, be aggressive and where not to, so, I can help my team in a positive way.
Okay, you're part of the bowling league, right? You guys try and bowl a lot. We had Caleb here a while ago. He was talking about it. I don't know who else. Who's the third member?
Jackson Cook.
Yeah. Okay. So take us through your game. Now, Caleb claims he's the best.
As a competitor, I'm not going to say he's the best, but, he definitely he helped me on how I bowl now, so I'm going to give him his props there. But I wouldn't call him the best.
All right. Is that kind of fun, though, just to get away? You got tons of schoolwork, you got practice, you got games. Is that kind of an escape?
No, definitely. We were doing it a little bit more towards in the summer and, before the season started to kick off, because we had more time to do it. And it was just, something to get away, get our minds off of basketball, not put too much, stress on ourselves when it came to, the season. And we're competitors. We like competing in anything. You be on the chips, you hear us about the Uno.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's, the kind of approach we took into bowling. We always wanted to compete. And, bowling is a soothing sport, I feel like. And, we go when we can.
That's today's Spotlight on a Cat. It's brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. You know what I liked about just hearing that is the bowling league, or the bowling trio of Caleb Love and KJ Lewis and Jackson Cook, who is a redshirt freshman walk-on from Oxford, England. But in a lot of teams, the starters and the walk-ons maybe wouldn't always hang out per se, but I like that. I like that they've got a walk-on that's in their group there that they found a common interest in or a common ground with. I think that kind of thing, when you can really create those connections, and again, we've talked about it. I got 20 guys on this team.
Right.
When you can make those connections 1 to 20. I think that really goes the lens to the cohesiveness of the group throughout an entire season.
Yeah, it does. When you can find different things to relate with, or just maybe even find out different new things to learn from each other, man, it just brings you together. You got guys usually coming from so many different places, so you got different foods and different ways of life, so you just get a chance, man, to just, sprinkle in. I remember coming in, it was Donnell Harris from Salina, California, and Michael Dickerson from Seattle, Washington, Federal Way, Washington, and, me from Dallas / Seagoville. So, you got all these guys from different places trying, you just get thrown into living together and playing together, and you just, any common things outside of the court, because on the court, you be fighting each other a lot. On the court, coaches manufacture, right? Manufacture the competitions. I mean, and he'll put roommates versus roommates. He know exactly what he's doing.
Hey, Kelvin, Donnell over there is shooting a lot better than you are, buddy.
Right.
You better pick it up.
Mike, and me and Mike D was guard. Donnell was a big man, so a lot of times.
I remember I used to play with Donnell back in the day in the rec. Like those guys, when we were all in the rec in those days before Richard Jefferson was built. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And so you a lot of time people don't realize like. You won't even talk to your roommate a lot of time because y'all ticked at each other because stuff that happened at practice. Y'all competitive guys, man. So
I just think of it like the college experience is about people coming from all over different walks of life, different places of the country. And in this case, this program, guys, is going to be built with people from all over the world because that's what Coach Lloyd is all about. So just like in college, you're going to maybe find somebody who comes from a different part of the world, but somehow you have some commonalities and you find out that you got a lot to talk about. And then there's the other situation where you learn from people who have different experiences than you had. That's just the college experience. So that like microcosm of having guys on the basketball team, Kelvin, who you can hang out with outside the court and develop those relationships with is so important once you get into big moments that you got that bond.
Because I add that because when a guy comes up to you and say, hey, everything's okay. It's a little bit different when you hang out with him outside of basketball, or it's just a little bit different. So having that on the team with you, it could be a star player and a walk-on or a star player. I remember JT came in and started getting playing time over me, but we were real good buddies from the AAU circuit. So I was never jealous of him, right? And I wanted to help him. And so, avoid different pitfalls that I may have had or whatnot. And so I would go to him. I remember playing Allen Iverson at Georgetown in New York in Madison Square Garden. And I told him he was getting ready to get in the game. And I told him, hey, watch out for the crossover and just telling him different little things to watch out for. And he listened to me because he know we boys. So, yeah, it does matter.
And the question now will be today, who is going to be in the starting lineup for Tommy Lloyd? He went with Henry Vasar down at Baylor. Will he go with Henry Vasar again today against BYU?
I honestly haven't thought about it much since. I mean, it's a lineup I like playing, so, we'll see how practice goes today and give it a go. I mean, there was no promotion demotion. It was just, you're looking sometimes for different ways to figure out your rotation. And if you want to try a group of guys to play together, the best way to do that in the course of a game sometimes is start them. Because if you don't start them, there's so many little factors that play into a game. Could be a foul, could be could be a matchup, could be fatigue. So you're like, man, I really wanted to play this lineup, but because of this reason, I didn't feel comfortable doing it in a game. So I was just like, well, I really want to play that lineup, so maybe the best thing I can do is look to start it. And it really wasn't any more complicated than that.
Does that make this year a little more unique than the previous three because you've had more lineup changes? I know some of them have been injury, but you hadn't really made those before this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I'm not going to box myself in and say, hey, I pick a starting lineup on December 1st and I'm going to ride with it the rest of the year. I mean, I think you got to react accordingly to what you think is best for your team over the course of a season. And there is a great certainty in having the same starting lineup every day, if that makes sense for your team. I've just felt like these adjustments have been, something I wanted to try and felt like it could be a positive thing for our team, and that's why we did it.
That is Tommy Lloyd, the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats. So we will await to see who the starting lineup is tonight. Will it be the two bigs again, Henry Vasar and Toby Awaka? Will it be back to Trey Townsend and Toby Awaka? We'll hear more from Lloyd and Henry Vasar as well as Toby Awaka on this two big concept and the dynamic that it is within this Arizona Wildcats team and how it could be productive for the Wildcats moving forward. Hour number 1 of Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day is in the books. We've got a lot more coming up for you straight ahead. Kelvin Efon is here, JW Madden as well. Arizona BYU about 2 hours and 30 minutes away at McHale Center. 8 o'clock tip-off tonight. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Post and Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's cold outside and you need safe, reliable heat for you and your family. For a limited time, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing is offering a free furnace with the purchase of a qualifying HVAC split system. For fast, reliable service, call Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
If you're suffering from back pain, and your physician is giving you a back brace or a pain pill or an injection, and not explain the process of what you have and how to rehabilitate yourself, then there might be something missing. I'm Tom Corey. I'm a physiatrist here at Desert Sky Spine and Pain. If you're looking to find the root cause of your pain, any pain that's limiting your function, limiting the things that you want to do in life, call us at 520-229-2080 or find us on the web at desertskymedicine.com.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
If you have old windows, they are probably driving up your energy bills. Upgrade with new windows from the Window Depot. The Window Depot provides unbeatable value and a wide variety of in-stock and custom-order windows to fit your style and budget. With our exclusive SI window brand, made right here in the USA, you'll get a full lifetime warranty, including glass replacement, for ultimate peace of mind. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you and start your project today. Experience the best prices, the biggest inventory, only at the Window Depot.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Out top, Vasar, feed it left corner. Carter Bryant squares for three. That rattles home for Carter Bryant. His first Lexus of Tucson charity three of the night. And the Wildcats lead at 34-28.
Really nice job with Vasar making that extra pass to the wide open Carter Bryant, who took his time and knocked it down.
Arizona and BYU tonight in Tucson. Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. I am your host, David Kelly. Kelvin Ifan, J.W. Madden are here. 520-848-1290 is the number if you'd like to get in on our Arizona basketball conversation. Call us, text us. We'll chat with you and get your thoughts. If you want to send us a video or an audio message, you can do that via our app. So download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app and interact with this program and or any of the other programs that we have here locally throughout the week. DK on the sports tip as well. Let's let you know what we've got coming up here for you in hour number 2 of our show.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, DK with TL is straight ahead, sponsored by nobody. What did I ask the coach this week? We'll dive into that. Is he afraid for tonight? Because this is not a ranked team. It seems like all our home games have been ranked teams lately. Is that a worry to Tommy Lloyd and his crew? Clancy Shields is going to join us, the Arizona men's tennis coach. Big win yesterday. They're 9-1. And they're starting to build a program, if you hadn't heard, over at the Robson Tennis Center. Jay Drew, he's the beat writer for BYU over at the Deseret News. He's got your scouting report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Over at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook, the line on this one, Arizona -7 points tonight over the BYU Cougars. Over-under sitting at 153.5. We'll see how we see that. And, of course, who will be that Cougar that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight? It is your Pest of the Game, brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Wildcats, will take you down to courtside, and you'll hear from him about tonight's game and the big win over at Baylor. 520-848-1290, again, is the number to get in on the program. Our guy, Fred Scheib, checks in from New Jersey, as he always does. He says, today, I think keys are going to be rebounds, limit turnovers, and get to the rim, says Fred Scheib out of New Jersey. You guys like those keys?
Yeah.
There you go.
For me.
I mean, it's the worst three-point shooting team in Arizona basketball history, right? So get to the rim. Yes, and cutting down turnovers, always important.
He also asked, was BYU missing their top player in the Cats win? Did they have a guy out in that game? I don't remember. I think
no. Richie Saunders is their best player, and he got shut down. That was the one where Demon took 20 shots. Right. He was really aggressive offensively. He's kind of their point guard. More of a Ben Simmons type guy. But no, Richie Saunders is their best player, right?
And Arizona did a great job of forcing him into being a volume shooter, denying what he usually like to do is penetrate and find guys and get guys going. Arizona only let him have 3 assists that day, and it made him into a shooter and a scorer.
Good game plan.
I don't think he can beat you.
All right, time now for DK with TL. My coaches, my questions this week to the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats. What was on my mind, and how did Tommy react to that?
Tommy, obviously Igor Demon is a very highly thought after prospect. What did you guys see from him? What was the plan to try to defend him first time around?
He's very talented, young player. Obviously, he's got a great future ahead of him, and he's getting a great opportunity there to play with the ball in his hands a lot, and he's having success. So we know he presents a lot of challenges, but those are challenges I think we're up for.
Tommy, when you play 3 straight home games against ranked teams, Iowa State, Houston, Texas Tech, and now you've got an unranked BYU team coming in here, do you have to, tell the players to guard against the letdown of the
No, that easy.
When you've got a team that shoots 33s and different guys that shoot those threes, how much of it is we're going to focus Saunders or one of the other top shooters versus and we're okay with this guy if he takes a three?
I mean, I think you have to have a understanding of their personnel and their strengths and weaknesses. And, obviously, any good defense is going to, tilt their coverages to, other teams' strengths. So, yeah, you want to have awareness. You don't want, their two best shooters is shooting a bunch of uncontested threes. I mean, that's a formula for disaster. So, we got to do a great job on them individually. But at the same point, you can't lose your defensive integrity. And now the paint's wide open and they're getting a bunch of layups. There's always just there's a little balance there and a little bit of a give and take. And, that's what makes, defense hard. You make choices, but, sometimes you make a choice here and you give up something there. And so you just have to figure that stuff out.
Tommy, does your philosophy in terms of how you want your bigs guarding the pick and roll change, whether it's the guard is a hot shooter, three-point shooter versus more of a driver?
I mean, that's a question we could take a lot of directions. I mean, it could change based on the big. It could change it based on the spacing. It could change based on the guard. I mean, there's lots of, elements, that kind of where you can decide how you want to tilt your coverages. So, yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, all those things are in play. And when you're deciding how you want to guard the ball screen, defensively. And then the next thing is you have to say is, well, what are our base ways of guarding the ball screen? Well, we guard the ball screen generally these ways. And because, this time of year, can you come and say, well, we've never done that way, so let's try that way. That might not be good. So you got to kind of stick to your strengths and what your team's comfortable with as well. And, so like, yeah, there's a little bit of a give and take.
How did you, just in terms of what happened with Cryer last Saturday, how did you evaluate that? Because it looked like your big sagged off there and allowed him to.
There was two scenarios there. And one of them, we had a player go for a steal. He didn't get it. It kind of caused a little, some down-the-line switching. So Tobey ends up switched on Cryer. And Tobey needs to know when he switched on Cryer, he's got to guard him. He's their best shooter. It's not complicated. That's a figure-it-out moment. Like, that shouldn't take a lot of coaching. And he was too far off in help, and he got an open three. That was the first one. The second one, we have a good defensive possession. We get down to the end. Carter's in a coverage. His guy sets a ball screen on Cryer. Cryer dribbles, with his left hand to the top of the key. And it's like 4-3 on the shot clock. I mean, Carter needs to be up. Whether he's up and you're in what some teams are getting, at the level of the screen and you're not switching, or you're switching, you need to be up. Like, I mean, this is basketball 101. And we missed those two coverages, and that really hurt our chances to win the game. So we got to be better in those areas.
Tommy, I know you said a couple of weeks ago that you really want Delly to be a catch and shooter. That's his primary deal, but he has been very good at some aggressiveness to the basket in recent games. Are you okay when there's opportunity for him to do that?
As long as he's building his game off his catch and shoot, I'm okay. But the moment, he's, making catch and shoot his plan B, I'm not as okay. It's that simple. And, Delly is figuring out, over the course of this year, what he needs to do to be a successful player at this level. And, there's been some growing pains for sure. I really liked what we got from him the last two games. And I felt good about that. So hopefully he can continue in that direction, because I know this. When he shoots the ball from three and his feet are ready early, I feel pretty good.
DK with TL, sponsored by Nobody. I want to go back to what he was saying, because we talked a little bit about guys off the air about those 2 threes last week by LJ Cryer and kind of how those plays developed. And I had posted some of the video on Twitter in terms of the play involving Carter Bryant. And obviously my whole point there was that I thought Carter could have defensed that better, maybe needed to be a little bit closer. That's what he said, that Carter needed to be up versus back in that respect. Kelvin, you brought another aspect to that, in that Carter got put in that position because of a switch by KJ prior to that.
Yeah, I felt like that KJ Lewis wanted to stay with Uzan?
Yeah,
wanted to stay with Uzan because he had started cooking a little bit, which I totally understand. But in that situation, when you have Carter Bryant right there who could totally make an easy switch, I thought they should have switched, being that Carter Bryant was already up on him, had him squared up or whatnot. But KJ came over and took him away. Then I think Carter lost sight of his man. And usually what they teach us is to go back into the lane and then find the guy from there. Because from there you can take away a layup or you can cover back out. He kind of got back out late off of the handoff, but I think if they would have switched it all, KJ would have ended up on the other guy, and then when they handed off, KJ would have ended up on LJ Cryer. So everything would have been fine. I just think right there they just got mixed up because of the way Uzan was playing.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously, you know, when you've got those situations, you're going to have guards who, like LJ Cryer, who lit it up again today to help Houston knock off the Iowa State Cyclones. When you've got shooters like that, and there's going to be a bunch of these guys, those guys shooters in this ball game today, the bigs are going to have to be cognizant that they can't, like Tommy said there, you can't leave these guys open coming off of screens like that.
You know they want to shoot the three.
Yeah.
You know they want to shoot the three. So what you do, J-Dub, is, and you know it like I do, you take away the three and force them to take some tough twos. You don't allow them to do exactly what they want to do because now they're putting you in what we call a two-way go. Now they have the three, and now if you come up, they have the two. I'm going to take the three away from you because I don't want you to get comfortable there. I don't want you to get comfortable and start knocking a couple shots down, and now we have to adjust our defense. So what you do is you get up there and you take away, you hedge. You get up there and you're there on the catch and force that guy to have to go off the dribble or make a move because it lowers your shooting percentages once you put the ball on the floor.
And this ties directly into your question about Del Orso, because what Anthony Del Orso wants to do is get out there, Kelvin, in a catch-and-shoot spot. Ball's worked around with a lot of drivers in the game alongside him. But defenses are trying to make sure that Del Orso is uncomfortable on the catch. They're trying to make sure they're crowding him, make sure that he cannot catch and get a clean look away because he's got a very quick release. So what's he been doing, DK, is letting that defender fly by him and getting a couple dribbles and potentially, facilitating or trying to get all the way to the rim. So in that situation, it's just a young man. I think Carter knows better than anybody else. Half a step forward. He's so long with his 6'8", 6'9", and he's got like a 7-foot wingspan seemingly. So in that situation, he'll learn from that. But definitely with a guy like Cryer in that late game scenario, Kelvin, the leaders of a team, you talk about guards win NCAA tournament games. That was an NCAA tournament level game. Their guards were going to play make down that stretch, try to make something happen. So yeah, Carter, freshman, he's going to learn from that. He's a very good young defender. That particular play, half a step forward.
All right, here's Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Gameday, Wildcats and BYU tonight, 8 o'clock tip-off coming up for you at McHale Center. Coming up next, we are going to chat with the men's tennis coach here at the University of Arizona. Hey, this is a pregame show for all of our sports teams, especially when they knock it out of the park like the Arizona men's tennis team did on Friday, shutting out the number 7 team in the country and taking down the number 1 doubles team in the country, 4-0 Wildcats over San Diego. Clancy Shields joins us next. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Gameday on Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Gameday. Hour 2 of our pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
If you're feeling overwhelmed by the thought of a home remodel, don't stress. The Window Depot is here to help. At the Window Depot, we're your one-stop warehouse for everything you need for your next remodel. Windows? Check. Doors? Got it. Cabinets, countertops, and everything in between? You'll find it all here at the lowest prices. Whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, or whole home makeover, our experienced designers are ready to bring your dream home to life, all at unbeatable prices. Find a location near you or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 5-star Google reviews from across Arizona. Like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, deferred is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Now that winter is really here, cooler overnight temperatures mean that your tire pressure warning light could be on. In most cases, you solve the problem by simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. As always, you can stop by any of our 14-area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low pressure warning light, we fix those too. Check out jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
You know, it's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and the spider, scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rockin' K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Getting you set for the Arizona Wildcats and the BYU Cougars tonight at McHale Center. Big weekend on campus. A lot of events happening. Arizona softball with the Hillenbrand Invitational. Baseball team hosting San Diego. Speaking of San Diego, Arizona men's tennis took on the Toreros on Friday. They came in ranked 7th, did San Diego, but they went out of here with a shutout loss to the number 14 Arizona Wildcats. 4-0 the final Friday at the Robson Tennis Center. Pleased to be joined by the head coach of Arizona men's tennis, Clancy Shields. And Clancy, huge top 10 win for your program on Friday. What did you like about the way the guys quickly took care of San Diego?
Yeah, well, San Diego's been one of the top teams all season. They were 9-1 coming into the tournament. I think they'd beaten 5 or 6 top 20 teams. And so obviously it was one of the big matches we circled. And it was funny because I didn't know the baseball team was in town, and their whole team ended up showing up at our match. And they started chirping our guys a little bit. And then I got the opportunity to text Chip afterwards. I said, go get after them tonight, Chip. They came out and were trying to get under our skin. So, no, it is all fun. But San Diego's a great program. Another top 10 win for our team. We went on the road earlier this year and beat number 9 Florida State. And so, things are looking good for our program, and I still feel there's so much room to grow. And our team's so young. 50% of our team are freshmen, and they're in their first year. And so we got a lot of work to do, but very happy where we're at this point in the season.
The doubles match obviously was one to kind of point to number 1 team in the country coming in on the doubles side for San Diego, but Jay Friend and Eric Padham took care of them 6-1. When you have a team of that magnitude or a pair of that magnitude, what was the game plan for what you wanted Jay and Eric to do to attack them to try at least win? And then they obviously went out there and crushed them.
So Jay and Eric actually played number 2 and beat another ranked team. Our number 1 team, Colton Smith and Iñaki, beat the number 1 team in the country. But both of our teams, Eric and Jay, undefeated on the year, haven't lost a match. And then Colton and Iñaki, we kind of put them together a few weeks ago. And throughout the last couple of weeks, you could see this group kind of gelling together, and they were getting excited about playing the number 1 team in the country. I mean, how many times in your career do you get to say you beat the number 1 player in the country?
Yeah.
And so for these guys, that'll be something they'll share forever. And, that'll put them as now a top 20 team. And it's just exciting for, the progress of our group. I mean, doubles has always been kind of our weak spot. And for our guys to come out and beat one of the better doubles combos in the country was really exciting. And just super happy for those 2 seniors, our captains. They live together. They do everything together. And now they get to share a really sweet moment like that.
Chatting with Clancy Shields, the head men's tennis coach at the University of Arizona. You mentioned that you put Colton and Iñaki together a few weeks ago. Why was that a pairing that you thought you might like to have?
Yeah, it's crazy. We have 12 unbelievable players, and you try to find combinations that work. And sometimes you just put the tennis aside, and you start thinking, all right, these guys like each other. They live together. There's this off the court. They're both seniors. They're both recognizing this moment is coming to an end. I mean, Iñaki, it's like a daily countdown. He goes, Coach, 83 more days left. And I'm like, oh, God. And so for these seniors, they really understand, that their time here is coming to an end. And I think they just want to soak it all up. They want to create some lasting memories together. And really, as a coach, you're just watching it unfold, and you say, all right, I think this is going to work. And you never know. And then when it does work, people pat you on the back. But it was really by chance. And honestly, I'm just happy we have a really strong combination for the rest of the season.
Iñaki Cabrera-Bello obviously kind of surged to the forefront last year. What's kind of unique about his game?
Iñaki is, he's never gotten a B. He's a 4.0 student. He's super smart. He's super cerebral. With the guys are he's like the pops of our team. He's the most mature guy in our locker room. He's probably the guy that the players on the team would tell you is going to be, the CEO of a company one day. And one of our most important leaders within our locker room. And so I'm really happy for him. He came in here, kind of transferred in from a school in Spain, and kind of came in mid-year a couple years back. And, it's hard for people who don't understand this college tennis concept coming from Spain. They don't know what this is all about. And then all of a sudden, you spend a little bit of time here, you immerse yourself in our culture, and then, now you're the guy leading the chants. You're the guy being the loud, boisterous person on the court. And that's really unlike playing tennis in Europe. And so to see him embrace college tennis fully just warms my heart. It's one of the coolest stories out there. And for me, just wanting to see these seniors go out with a bang and with success is my ultimate goal.
Clancy Shields joining us. He is the head coach of the Arizona men's tennis team, 9-1 on the season. That lone loss came at home to Central Florida, and it kept you guys, Clancy, out of the ITA National Championships this year, an event you had gone to last year. A lot of people might not understand what that is. I think a lot of college fans, they understand the regular season, the conference tournament, the NCAAs, but how important is that ITA Nationals and getting there? You got there last year. How big was the disappointment not to be able to go back?
Yeah, it was devastating. and in all honesty, it's really righted the ship for this season because we were exposed, and you hate that you were exposed in one of the biggest matches of the year to punch your ticket to the final site of the National Indoor Championships. But you always see how you respond as a team when you take one on the chin, and you want to see how the team responds. And as a coach, you just kind of, there's always a little bit of doubt. Can I actually do this? Am I what am I doing wrong? I thought we had a really good team this year, and I think we just doubled down on our culture and what it means to play for Arizona tennis. And having so many of our alumni who've had so much success these last few years calling me, what's going on, what's wrong, what's going on with the program. And honestly, that was
after one loss.
Well, these guys have high expectations, especially the ones that have played here, and they know how important it is to go to the final site.
Yeah.
And they really just, 5 or 6 of these guys who are on a group chat who've been with me the last kind of building this program the last 7 or 8 years. We were all in the group chat, and they were kind of saying, hey, this is what you guys got to get back to, and this is what I think is lacking. And we just doubled down on the culture, that the things that we built, 8 or 9 years ago when we were 160 in the country, and all the little details. And I think it really helped us, find our identity again. Certainly, I think this team is riddled with so much talent. I mean, we have the number one player in college tennis on our team. He's ranked 3 in the country, but by the ATP rankings, he's 250 in the world. I mean, this is unheard of in college tennis. We have a quarterfinalist who's number 5 in the country, Jay Friend at number 2. So we have a lot of talent on our team, but we also have a lot of young guys. And it kind of reminds me when I go to the basketball games and I'm watching this Carter Bryant kid, and I'm like, why is he not playing 40 minutes a game? And you start to realize that it just takes a little bit of an adjustment for these kids who get here, and it's their first year playing, maybe on a team or college tennis. And so I just think our team's going to get better and better as these young guys get experience. They're going to really settle into being able to play their game. And certainly I'm excited for the future, but I know that now we're going to be back in the top 10 in the country, and the target on our back has gotten even bigger, and we're going to have to go out and be ready to have that same hunger and desire that we had yesterday.
Well, I mean, I think what you just said there, Clancy, really kind of emphasizes it and hammers home that this is a program now. When you've got that buy-in from the alumni and they care that much about what's going on now, even though they've kind of moved on. I mean, that's really great to hear. You talked about, having one of the top players in the country. Colton Smith went out and won a challenger title earlier this year as well. Just kind of speak to where he's come from and gotten to this point in his career.
Yeah. First off, there's not a greater kid in tennis that I've ever coached. I mean, you're going to come across some amazing players. And then when you find the kid who is an amazing player, but an even better human being, he's the most selfless kid in our locker room. I would put this 100 kids in his same situation playing college tennis. I'd say 99 of those kids would go to the pro tour. They would forego their senior season. Colton is that one kid. And you kind of ask him, hey, why are you coming back? You're going to be playing the Grand Slams. He's probably going to play the French Open and Wimbledon and US Open in this upcoming year. And he's like, I want my senior year. Like, we've put such an emphasis on playing for the seniors. And I think he's played so hard for his seniors, his freshman, sophomore, and junior year, And now it's his time for the guys to play for him. And I think he wanted that. He wanted to be a part of that, and he wants to do more things with the team. I'm the one that's telling him to go play more pro events because he's doing. I mean, it's I don't think the community of Tucson or anyone who really doesn't know tennis that well. This is an anomaly to have a player doing what he's doing, ranked where he's at, and who's also juggling school full time. He's taking 19 credits right now. He's playing a professional schedule, and he's playing college full time. And he's a captain on our team, and he's leading our team impact community service stuff. I mean, the guy really does it all, and I can't speak enough about this kid. But this is a guy that will be like a Mount Rushmore type kid for Arizona athletics, and certainly for Arizona tennis.
Have you ever gone fishing with him?
I've watched him fish, and it is actually crazy. It's his safe haven, man. It's like putting his cell phone on the charger. Like he go, and then he goes fishing, and it's like his whole battery's recharged. And he was the one kid. I never made a concession to recruit like this, but he was the one kid when I was recruiting him. I said, "Hey, you get to go elk hunting once a year for a week. You can go. You don't have to practice. You don't have to go to school." But, like, go recharge your batteries, and it's probably why we landed him. I think we were the only school that told him that. But it certainly paid off for us, and to have this guy, it's helping us in recruiting. It's helping us in every way. I mean, we were at Florida State a couple weeks ago, and a kid and his dad drove all the way up from Orlando, about a 5-6 hour drive. And they said, "Hey, we just wanted to watch Colton Smith play." And I was like, as a coach, you're sitting here being like, this kid is transcending just playing for Arizona. This kid's inspiring the next generation of young Americans to play tennis.
Clancy Shields joining us. Clancy, you guys are still a month away from the start of Big 12 conference play. What's this new conference going to be like on the men's tennis side? And obviously it's not probably at the level of the Pac-12 and what you guys faced out there, but how do you hope to use these next few months to prepare yourselves for the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, it's interesting. The top team won the national championship last year, TCU. Right. They lost the finals so the top team is really TCU, and everyone's gunning for them. But the depth is a little bit less, and one of the things I loved about the Pac-12 is I felt it was the most talented conference in the country, but the kids weren't as tough as, say, the SEC kids or some of these Big 12 teams. And now we're going into a conference where all these kids are tough. Maybe the talent's a little bit less, but they practice in 25-mile-an-hour winds. They play when it's cold. The fans are rowdy. And so I think what we've kind of modeled our program over of being the grittiest team, well, we certainly were that in the Pac-12, and that's going to be a challenge for us as we go to a new conference. And you see it in football and you see it in basketball, where these fans and these fan bases are intense. And then the games, man, like, going to basketball games this year, I've never seen so much defense being played. And that's kind of the same thing across the board in the conference, is that you got some really tough kids, gritty kids that are going to get after it. And the talent level may be slightly lower, but certainly from what I'm seeing, it's a really gritty, tough conference, and we're going to have, our hands full. UCF is ranked 11 in the country. Baylor's top 20. ASU's top 25. So there's still a really good plethora of teams, and certainly, to go tackle a new challenge of winning a conference title in the Big 12 would be something I think everyone's put on their goal list.
All right, putting a check mark next to TCU. That'll be a match on the road March 21st, a Friday afternoon, down in Fort Worth, Texas. It'll be the second match in the Big 12 schedule, which will be 8 matches overall for the University of Arizona. Hey, Clancy, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Looking forward to getting out there and seeing your kids play later on this spring, and hopefully bring home that first Big 12 championship.
All right. Thanks for having me on, David. Appreciate it.
He is Clancy Shields, and he is the head coach of the Arizona men's tennis team. Much more coming up for you straight ahead. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Gameday, getting you set for the Wildcats and the BYU Cougars at McHale Center. Tip-off at 8 o'clock. You're listening to Wildcats Radio, 1290.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Are you having sewer and drain issues? Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing is the name to know when your drains don't flow. We do the dirty jobs, so you can focus on yours. Leave the drain pain to the experts. Call Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
If you have old windows, they are probably driving up your energy bills. Upgrade with new windows from the Window Depot. The Window Depot provides unbeatable value and a wide variety of in-stock and custom order windows to fit your style and budget. With our exclusive SI window brand made right here in the USA, you'll get a full lifetime warranty, including glass replacement, for ultimate peace of mind. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you and start your project today. Experience the best prices, the biggest inventory, only at the Window Depot.
Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we're offering 60 months no interest financing, tax credits up to $2,600, energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. Maybe a few family ones, too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Del Orso springs a three out there and drains it. Anthony Del Orso with our first Lexus of Tucson Charity three. Tommy wants him to shoot more. Well, first shot goes in.
Time now for a look at today's Wildcat opponent. The Scouting Report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there.
All right, let's get an update on the BYU Cougars. We just saw them a few weeks ago in Provo, but things have gotten a little bit better since the last time these two teams got together, especially earlier this week. for the Cougars, who absolutely threw a knockout punch at the Kansas Jayhawks in Provo, beating them 91-57. Pleased to be joined by Jay Drew from the Deseret News. He is the beat reporter, longtime beat writer for the BYU Cougars. And first of all, Jay, how shocking was that on Tuesday night?
It was mildly shocking. Obviously, the margin of victory was shocking. The fact that BYU hung with them was not. Kansas had lost to Utah 2 nights earlier in Salt Lake City. And so I figured that BYU had a fairly good chance of beating them. BYU's been a pretty good home team. But the sheer kind of margin of victory was just a stunner. I mean, BYU was up 20 at halftime and then led by as many as 38. So it was that was the shocking part of it.
Let's first talk about Kevin Young. First season there with this club. What have been the early reviews on Kevin as the new head coach taking over for Mark Pope?
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. He came in basically with no college coaching experience. Came in from the NBA, was a longtime Phoenix Suns assistant, and before that with the 76ers. So he knew the NBA game. There's been a learning curve for him as far as learning a lot of the nuances of the college game. He's proven to be a pretty good recruiter. Mark Pope took a couple of good players with him to Kentucky from BYU. A couple others went to Louisville. So he kind of had to start over a little bit. He convinced a couple guys to stay that were in the transfer portal, including probably their best player, Richie Saunders. And then he's been okay. They've had some few down points. They lost, I think that Arizona game they lost, and then they went out and lost badly at Cincinnati. Other than that, I think it's been mostly positive, and they're on a little 3-game winning streak here. It looks like they're going to be finished in the top half of the Big 12. So I don't think you can ask for any more than that from his first season in Provo.
You mentioned, obviously, his NBA background, spent some time here in the Desert State on the staff of the Phoenix Suns, plays a very much style that we see a lot in the NBA, where his teams like to shoot a ton of three-pointers. I guess in terms of what you've seen from that, and I know one of the things he came out and said after the win over Kansas was he feels like his team might be a little bit tougher than they were when they faced the Wildcats back just at the beginning of this month. How do you think they've gotten tougher in the last, 17 days since the last time these two teams got together?
Yeah, that's tough to answer. I think they've gotten tougher inside. They've gone to a player, Mihailo Boskovic, out of Serbia that hadn't been playing a lot. He gives them a third big man. Arizona just crushed them inside when they played in Provo. BYU had no answer for Lassar and some of the other Arizona bigs. Down the stretch, Jaden Bradley and Caleb Love killed them, but in the meat and potatoes of the game where Arizona kind of put it on them and broke free, that was that they just killed them inside. So I think they've just gotten through personnel, through guys playing a little differently, a little bit tougher, and I think they're tougher mentally. I think they got it handed to them when they went to Cincinnati, and since that, I think they probably had a come-to-Jesus moment with the coaching staff, and the guys have just played with more fierceness, more ferocity, more aggressive, and more physical. And I think that's what he was referring to.
It is your scouting report, and it's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960 here to get you there. Jay Drew is our guest. He's the beat writer for the BYU Cougars from the Deseret News in Salt Lake City. Wildcats and Cougars tonight. Tip-off is coming up at 8 o'clock this evening. Jay, in terms of, this roster and this team's, propensity to shoot three-point shots, when they have not played well, is it as simple as those are the nights they don't make a lot of threes like they didn't do earlier in the year against Arizona, or are there other things that maybe befell them on nights when they are knocking down a few three-point shots?
They live and die by the three. They'd like to get a better post presence. The problem is their best post player, Hussein Traore, they call him Foos. Sounds like they're booing when he scores, but he's only 6'6". He's like a Charles Barkley in there. And so when he goes up against big lineups such as the one Arizona has, he really struggles, and that even makes him more one-dimensional with the outside shot. They have a few guys that can drive. They've got a freshman, Yegor Demin from Moscow, Russia, who a lot of people think is going to go in the NBA lottery next year. I'm not sold on it. I'm kind of jury is out for me. But when he gets going, he can be pretty good. He's 6'9" point guard, and he's kind of their other offense. He's him kind of slashing to the hoop and then dishing, or he's a pretty good finisher at the rim. But you're right. The three-pointer, if they're hitting the three-pointer, they can play with almost anybody. If they're not, they're very susceptible to being blown out of the gym.
You mentioned Yegor Demin, 6'9" freshman out of Russia. What are your concerns that you've seen that maybe he might need another year or two?
Yeah, he's not very physical. He's not very. He's wiry. He's not put together well. His handles are just okay. Against Houston, I think and the pressure that they put on, I think he had 8 turnovers, I want to say. Another team, they played Providence. He had like 10 turnovers. So teams have been able to kind of push him around a little bit, kind of wear on him. And he's been a little bit turnover prone. He attempts some passes that, might look pretty in the NBA or might look pretty over in the European leagues. But here they just result in fast breaks for the guys going the other direction. So that's why I say I'm a little not quite sold yet on his future. I think he needs another year in college, but you can see the talent. There are glimpses where you can see, I can see where all these pro scouts show up to watch him play. He does, and he's a 6'9" point guard. And those don't grow on trees. So those are the kind of the pros and cons.
Jay Drew is our guest. He is the beat writer for the Deseret News in Salt Lake City. It is your scouting report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, here to get you there. Jay has been on the beat for some 18 years, which dates back to the last time BYU came a-calling here in Tucson. It's a night that I remember well. It was my second year here covering the Arizona Wildcats programs. The night that Jemmer Fredette put up 49 against the Wildcats in a 30-point win. Jay, we got a chance to catch up with Jemmer at the Big 12 football media day in Las Vegas this past July and talk to him about that night. You were there, Mikhail. What do you remember about that performance?
I just remember the kid couldn't miss. It was kind of one of those weird games between Christmas and New Year's, so you didn't have a lot of students on campus at U of A. One thing I take away is with about 3 minutes left, it was a blowout. So Coach Dave Rose took Jimmer out of the game, and Lute Olson, of all people, stood up and literally urged some of the Arizona fans to stand up and give Jimmer a standing ovation. I thought that was one of the classiest moves I've ever seen. I've been in this business 35 years, traveled all over the world and country, really, following from the Utah Jazz to BYU and everything. So that's kind of my takeaway from it. Is just I'm sure Mikhail is a lot different then. They're obviously winning on a regular basis now, but it was just one of those kind of weird moments where the opposing fans were giving, opposing player a nice round of applause, and he deserved it. He was just unconscious that night. It was amazing, some of the shots he made.
Yeah, I mean, it was still just one of the most dynamic performances I think I've ever seen in a game involving the University of Arizona. And I've said ever since, obviously, that this whole thing started to come together with Arizona's potential move to the Big 12, I've said that I think that Arizona BYU could be one of the new rivals for the Wildcats. BYU. I'm curious from your standpoint. Obviously, the Cougars are now in their second year in this league. Who are believed to be the rivals for them? Obviously, Utah. I mean, outside of Utah, we all know that's the rival, just like U of A ASU is the rivalry. But do folks in the BYU community look at Arizona potentially being a new rival in this new league?
I wouldn't say not yet. I mean, I think it would probably be more with Arizona State, not that they're on the same level, but when BYU went there to Tempe this last football season, I don't know if you saw the game. They stormed the field twice. There was a lot of craziness going on. Arizona State pulled it out. It literally cost BYU a chance at the college football playoff. And there's also a lot of LDS church members in that area, in that Phoenix, Tempe area. So there were a ton of BYU fans there. I think Wednesday when they play in basketball, I think you'll see the same thing. As far as with Arizona, I don't know. Maybe if I think BYU probably has to win a game or two in this to kind of get it going, at least to be able to call it a true rivalry. But you are right in the BYU-Utah rivalry. It's much like the ASU-Arizona rivalry. They just plain don't like each other. And so that's always going to be rivalry one for BYU.
Well, and it's interesting because the reasons that you said in terms of BYU-ASU were the same ones that I've said, and I believe that this could be a potential rival for Arizona is the sheer number of LDS church members that are in southern Arizona as well. Huge, obviously, community down here. And there is some history on the football side recently with a number of meetings between Arizona and BYU going back to, I think the last time we had you on, in fact, was when the two teams met at Allegiant Stadium to kick off the season a few years back. So there is some connection in that realm as well, although this is the first time that they've actually gotten together in basketball since that famed performance back in 2009, 2010. Jay, what do you think the keys to the game tonight are for the BYU Cougars?
Yeah, I think they got to cut down on turnovers. It's been a huge problem. They got to play evenly on rebounding with Arizona, especially keeping the Wildcats off the offensive glass. And then we said it before, they need to make at least 10 3-pointers. That's kind of been the Mason-Dixon line for BYU this year. They make over 10 3-pointers. They're in the game. They make less than 10 3-pointers. I don't know. I don't have the record at my fingertips, but they've probably won twice when they've made less than 10 3-pointers. So those would be my keys.
All right, Jay, get into the arena safely. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us ahead of tip-off tonight between BYU and Arizona.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's going to be fun going back to McKell, first time in 15 years, and been looking forward to this one for quite a while. So thanks for having me on.
Let's hope Richie Saunders doesn't become the new Jummer Fredette tonight. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks again, guys.
Jay Drew, he is the beat writer for the BYU Cougars from the Deseret News.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Accidents cause hassles as big as the Grand Canyon.
So we're hitting the road to spread the word about the bird.
The Eagle at Goldberg and Osborne.
Freeway fiasco in Flagstaff.
Hurt in Havasu.
Totaled in Tucson.
No worries. The Eagle has offices across the state. From Kingman
to Sierra Vista, where they fight hard to get you more.
So relax and ride on.
Because the bird is the word.
Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Are you having sewer and drain issues? Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing is the name to know when your drains don't flow. We do the dirty jobs, so you can focus on yours. Leave the drain pain to the experts. Call Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rockin' K with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Now that winter is really here, cooler overnight temperatures mean that your tire pressure warning light could be on. In most cases, you solve the problem by simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. As always, you can stop by any of our 14-area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low-pressure warning light, we fix those too. Check out jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne, the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Door and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Bryant passed up the open shot, get it to Bradley, runner in the lane, and it rolls in for Jaden Bradley, his first points of the night.
Yeah, really nice job by Bradley taking the contact. Arizona's doing a very nice job versus the 1-3-1. What do? Put 2 along the baseline. Great job of finding those open guys.
Arizona and BYU, we are just about an hour and a half away from tip-off at McHale Center. Final hour of our show today as we get you set for basketball night in Arizona. Let's let you know what we've got in store for you over this final 60 minutes of Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
Who will be that Cougar that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight? It is your Pest of the Game, brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. That's straight ahead. Best bets Wildcats over at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. Arizona a 7-point favorite tonight. They've been an underdog in many games lately, or several games anyway lately, but not tonight. 153.5, the over-under. Both these teams can put up points, so anticipating that we might see that this evening. Brian Jeffries is your voice of the Wildcats. He'll call the game tonight with Ryan Hansen on Wildcats Radio 1290, 107.5 FM K-Hit. He is your view from courtside. Keys to the game, starting lineup, scoreboard, all of that. Still straight ahead as we get you through this final hour of the pregame show. Second meeting between Arizona and BYU, 85 to make sure I have this score right before I get it wrong the last time these two teams got together. It was 85-74, 11-point victory by the Arizona Wildcats over the BYU Cougars. Kevin Young, what are his impressions of the Wildcats?
Man, they're super impressive. I think we're a more physical team now than we were the first time we played them. They're probably the most offensively, let me say this the right way, they're the most physical offensive team. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. And so we gotta do what we've done in the last couple of games as far as meeting that physicality.
We mentioned Kevin Young, an assistant coach within the Phoenix Suns system before leaving the NBA to take a job here in the college game, leading the Brigham Young University Cougars. Never, though, did get down to U of A with his role in Phoenix.
I mean, I was friends with Ricardo Foy, who was an assistant there with Tommy, and that kind of led me to meet Tommy a little bit. But no, I've never been to a game down there. Had some work with Joseph Blair, a Tucson legend, when I was in Philly. We worked together, so I've worked with a couple of Arizona folks, but never been down there.
Interesting. We had mentioned, I think, the last time around that he had also come out of that Philadelphia 76ers system that, of course, when he was there at the same time that T.J. McConnell was a player there in Philadelphia as well. So, again, a guy with a lot of NBA background and off to a pretty good start. I don't know if he's going to get an extension in his first year like Dustin May got at Michigan, but you got to like what you've seen from Kevin Young, and he's got the top recruit in the country coming in next year.
Yeah, I was thinking he got a nice little NIL backing going on there. So, that's exciting for him, I'm sure, because, when you're able to go out and get the number one player in the nation, attract him to your university. He is playing in Utah, so they kind of had a little bit of an advantage. But yeah, no, I like what I see out of him. He's playing like an NBA style. They're playing 4 out, 1 in, 5 out, penetrating, shooting a lot of threes. That's very attractive to a lot of players, especially little kids up in Utah.
It's such a unique college town, right? Because, what percentage of people who live year-round in Provo are not BYU Cougars fans? It's a huge amount of support, and you talk about the connection to the church. They've got a lot of people who want to see that football team, that basketball team be successful. So, yeah, definitely trending in the right direction with the number one guy coming in next year. It's going to be a scary prospect in the near future playing against the BYU Cougars.
Interesting that Jay Drew says that right now they potentially maybe in their fan base see ASU is more of a rival, just obviously bigger city. I'd always said, again, I think there's obviously a lot of a connection to the LDS Church down here in Southern Arizona, but obviously way more up in the valley.
I think what he said after that was that the ASU BYU football game this year was pretty heated, and until BYU basketball can get a couple wins against the Cats, Kelvin, that's the thing about rivalries are formed based on some kind of on-court, on-field animosity that carries over to the stands a little bit, and then you get a couple of extracurriculars. Not to say I don't think BYU is a team you're going to see a lot of extracurriculars with, but I think the rivalry will form naturally over time, DK, as BYU, as we just said, they're trending. They're going to have a they have a really solid team this year. You're talking about having a potential lottery pick on this year's roster. If Demon sticks around, they got the favorite for the number one pick in next year's NBA draft on the roster. They could be real scary. So let's see BYU get some wins, and then let's see how that rivalry forms.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, rivalry? I'm like, I don't know. Some good games coming up. You know what I'm saying? But a rivalry, they got a lot of...
Well, again, we're talking about building it? I mean, obviously it's not at this point, but who are going to be the schools that can potentially replace UCLA down the line?
Yeah, I'm thinking more of Houston and Kansas. That's what I'm thinking of.
Cyclones,
again,
Cougars, Jayhawks right now. Yeah.
Right. And again, I'm thinking ASU is more realistic.
Well, yeah.
For BYU, right?
Okay.
Right. I'm saying for BYU.
Right.
I'm saying in reality of success is whatnot. I think Arizona is on such another level. Every time BYU is coming in, they're looking like they have a chance to, get some notches on their belt.
So yeah, we talk about like the Corvalises and the Pullmans of the world, and Arizona lost to some of those teams. But Kelvin, they never got the number one recruit in high school to go to Oregon State or to Washington State. So, I mean, as far as like we all know the history. I mean, if you don't, go look up who Danny Ainge is, okay? BYU has played some great basketball over the years. But I just think you got to have a competitive balance between the two programs consistently before you can. I mean, I think the programs overall, the athletic departments, DK, throughout all of the sports that they compete at, definitely a rival. Because I have family in town who lives on the east side who came up in that, and actually two of them attended BYU. So I definitely know there's a lot of fans down here in Tucson who are BYU fans. So definitely a school that you could see some great matchups at all levels of all the sports. They take their sports very seriously.
Well, and that's my question. If you are from Southern Arizona and you are of the LDS Church, who you riding with tonight? Who you riding with? You riding with the Cougs, BYU, or as they like to call it, KYU, Kevin Young University? Are you rolling with the Wildcats, U of A? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Let's find out who that Cougar is going to be that's going to get underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight.
Who is today's pest of the game?
1 second. Got it at the buzzer.
The pest of the game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
Is it going to be one of the 6 guys who have 25 or more made three-pointers on this team today, led by Richie Saunders, who has 57. The Wildcats were able to shut him down. He shoots 43%. Trevin Nell shoots 43%. They shoot 37 as a team. And again, they play, and you're going to hear coming up a little bit later in this segment as well, they like to use the word pace when they describe how they play basketball. Pace, and they can do it at the defensive end too. 189 steals on the season. Kelvin, who is that guy that you think is going to be the Cougar to contend with tonight?
Yeah, it has to be Richie Saunders for me. I mean, 4 of 8 from 3 versus Kansas. I mean, the guy catches the ball and just lets it go without even thinking about it. Confidence is through the roof. You have to stop a guy like him, as we did last time. That's why we beat him. I think we have to do somewhat of the same to get this victory.
J.W. Madden.
Yeah, I was going to say Richie Saunders as well, but for one reason, that if you look at every single loss they've had this season, only one of those losses did he have a good game. Every single loss they've had this year, he semi-underperformed. But I'll just go with Demon because, I mean, that's a guy who stirs the drink, and he's really, really a physically gifted freshman, tough guy to match up with, especially because he can invert the offense and all that. So he's a guy, last time we saw him put up 20 field goal attempts. I don't know that they don't change their philosophy a little bit, maybe make him a little more of a facilitator, because like you said, DK, a lot of good shooters on that team. So yeah, I'll go with Demon today.
And it's Jaeger Demon. I think I said Igor earlier. It's Jaeger, as in Jaegermeister or Jaegor. Is how you pronounce his
the part of the world
name.
he's from, it's most likely Jaegor. Would be my guess.
Demon. All right, well, I'll go with Trevin Nell then, because he's obviously the secondary guy on this team. And if they're going to win, they're going to have to make threes. And if they're going to make threes, it's going to be Richie Saunders and Trevin Nell that are probably going to be those primary guys. Although don't count out Cannon Catchins, who has 39 on the season as well. So there you go. Richie Saunders, Jaeger Demon, and Trevin Nell, the 3 Cougars that we believe will get underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight.
Amazing stuff. That's today's Best of the Game. The Best of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
All right, speaking of Jaeger Demon, Kevin Young on Demon finding a balance between attacking the basket at 6'9" or being a facilitating point guard at 6'9"?
Yeah, I mean, I love when he's in attack mode, trying to get downhill. I mean, I've said this before, he's one of the best rim finishers in all of college basketball. Which you're a perimeter player, that's pretty impressive. And so, he puts a lot of strain on the defense when he's getting downhill and getting to the rim. And then they have to help and so forth, and that opens things up on a perimeter. And I think, particularly in the last two games, I think teams are worried about our three-point shooting, rightfully so. We've got a lot of guys that can shoot. We shoot it at a high percentage as well as a high volume, and so that opens up driving lanes, and I think him and Dallin have been beneficiaries of that. So I think, Yegor striking that balance is, important for us.
Interesting in our conversation with Jay Drew, he doesn't think that, and we talked about it all week long, this is a guy that's a top 10 draft pick right now. He's top 10 on most of the draft boards. Jay Drew, though, doesn't think that he's necessarily ready for all that glamour that might come with being a top 10 pick. He might need another year. But again, we know how this works. The NBA will take on potential. Oh, yeah. So whether or not he's ready doesn't necessarily won't necessarily scare teams off from taking him on draft day in June.
No, he has all the attributes that they're looking for, and they want to get you young so you're not molded already. They want to take you and mold you into an NBA product, not necessarily into a college product. That's why a lot of time when you see a lot of these college seniors, 23, 24 years old, they're not getting drafted because the people feel like they already have maximized who they are. So a lot of times guys got to get out of here as a freshman or a sophomore and go ahead and go to the league and let them finish molding them into an NBA prospect.
Yeah, and if he needs to impress scouts, guess what? You come back next year, you get to throw lobs to AJ. So, I mean, that guy is about as good a scorer right now, Kelvin, around. So if Demon's trying to show off his handles and his, if he wants that Ben Simmons mold of being a facilitator at that size, I mean, there's a lot of shooters on this year's team. That's an NBA-level slasher you're talking about.
Only thing I'll say to that is he better watch out because AJ loves to handle the ball. He's sort of like Gilbert Arenas' son. The reason why he did not come here because Tommy was not going to let him handle the ball like that at 6'7". So I think that's the same with AJ. AJ wanted to go somewhere where he could look right at Denham and say, that's the spot I want. I think he wants that spot.
Yegor Demon averaging almost 5 assists per ball game this season. Again, it's a team that plays with pace, they like to say. Here's Richie Saunders on more of that.
I mean, to start with our pace, transition. Again, I've said it. That's what we do best. And like when we are playing on attack, whether that's in the half court or transition, but when we're playing on attack, we call it 0.5. You have 0.5 seconds to make a read, whether it's drive it, shoot it, pass it. And I feel like when we do that, like it just creates so many open looks for each other. It's such a special thing. Like, it's just like I feel like how basketball should be played is when we're moving that thing, we're getting downhill, making the extra pass. Like, it's a really cool thing, and it's super fun to be a part of to play like that.
That's interesting. 0.5 seconds.
Yeah, the first I ever heard of that was from Steph Curry, and he says if you have it longer than 0.5 seconds, it's a grenade. It blows up. It blows up in your hand. Something bad happens, and he's right, man. Because when you get that ball and you hold it, the defense loads up on you. They're all in their help position. Everybody can see man and ball. It's easy to guard. But when that ball is moving fast, you can't keep up with where your man at, where the ball at. Cuts are happening. Screens are happening. And before you know it, guys are getting shots off. So, yeah, I told you, when you have a team that every guy on that team plays that way, it works real well. It's sort of what, U of A does, even though they kind of hold the ball a little bit more and kind of probe a little bit with their passes. But, yeah, it works when you have all guys in sync.
And if the Wildcats' plan tonight is to do a lot of switching to try to stay on these three-point shooters, Kevin Young on how his team plans to attack those that do that.
It's a blessing and a curse to not have like an ISO-heavy team, because you do that in the league and like, okay, I'm going to back it out and I'm going to get in my bag and all this stuff. Here, like, we preach, like, don't let the switching be a stop sign. If anything, it's a green light to move that ball even more. And so, we had some Kansas State did that to us, and we really carved them up with just making quick decisions. So, honestly, it helps us double down on our philosophy offensively when teams do that. And Kaba's learning how to slip roll a little bit more and things like that. Usually I go to Mihailo at the Boscovich at the 5 when they start switching because he's really good at slip rolls and things like that. But Kaba's really starting to kind of get that figured out.
When he says Cabe, he's talking about Kaba Keita, who comes into this game shooting 64% from the field.
You handle teams that are hunting mismatches. You have some versatile defenders. That's what Arizona has, and that's why BYU struggled a little bit against that physical Arizona defense last time. They get a little freedom, Kelvin Ifon, get open, start feeling themselves, that hot potato 0.5 second thing, and you lose track of a couple of those shooters. That's a very, very powerful offense. We'll see today if it turns out the same way last time.
And to me, it shouldn't be hard to guard because having Denham at the point at 6'9", that switch in between your big setting the screen and him shouldn't be that tough.
Yeah.
That should be a quick switch, easy, have everybody else help side, ready to take away and force the pass, to the farthest guy to the 3. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting how we deal with that today.
All right, what's this game? What are our decisions to make on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook?
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Arizona -7, 153.5. I'm taking Arizona laying the 7 and going over in this game. Calvin.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I think again, I think Arizona wins this game again by at least 10.
What's over under?
153.5.
I think Cats win by 5 or 6, so I will take BYU in the points, and I'll go over. I think BYU's offense is going to come a little bit harder than they did last time out.
All right, everybody's got the over. J-Dub has BYU +7. DK and Kelvin taking the Wildcats and laying that number. Those are your best bets.
Those are today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. Maybe a few family ones too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think first chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcasts. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
I love my weekend rides across Arizona. I travel with all the protection I need. Helmet, gloves, leathers, and the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle fights hard to help injured riders across the state. Whether we're cruising through Carefree, slow riding in Sedona, or breezing through Bisbee, they find you doctors, manage medical bills, and get you back on your bike with the most money possible. Injured riding? The bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE.com.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or RoyalKia.com.
If you have old windows, they are probably driving up your energy bills. Upgrade with new windows from the Window Depot. The Window Depot provides unbeatable value and a wide variety of in-stock and custom order windows to fit your style and budget. With our exclusive SI window brand, made right here in the USA, you'll get a full lifetime warranty, including glass replacement, for ultimate peace of mind. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you and start your project today. Experience the best prices, the biggest inventory, only at the Window Depot.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
There's the facer at the left elbow. Dump it inside. Waka lay it up and in. Beautiful play.
Really is. Great big recognition there. Basar turning and facing on that nail catch. Sees Tobe creating some space for the little high-low.
It's time now for us to take you down to front row of the arena. A view from the courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Southern Arizona for more than 25 years.
Brian Jeffries joins us in one piece after his encounter down in Waco, Texas on Monday night. Brian, you've been doing this 37 years. So how many times is that now that somebody has come crashing in to your position at the scores table?
Oh, probably about 3 or 4, I'm guessing. Not more than that. But I will say it's the first time a guy who's 6'7", 245 pounds ever came over the table. So that's a little bit different. You know, I've had our own players come over the table, but it always seems to be a guard who, you know, probably weighs, 180, 190, and I can handle that. I'm not too good at Norchad Omer at 6'7", 245.
So from a broadcast standpoint, I mean, you got to kind of make sure the equipment and you're still on the air. How do you kind of try to manage all that at when that's happening?
Well, it happens so fast. You don't remember a lot of things. I know that everything, a lot of stuff went on the floor, no equipment, but. And then the great thing was that the Baylor students sit right behind us there at Foster Pavilion. And I had a couple students helping me. They were picking up the papers. They were asking me if I was okay. And so we got that. Kyle, our engineer, had a towel and was wiping off the equipment, my scorebook and a few things, because there were a couple water bottles sitting there. And when Omer hit that, they kind of sprayed all over the place. But that's no big deal. So. Yeah, you just you got to keep going. They're not going to stop the game for you. I don't even remember when Omer got up. I mean, I was doing other things trying to get ourselves put back together, and I didn't even notice when, how he got off the table or anything.
So, and obviously you've done baseball. I think you probably had you've had foul balls hit into the booth before. Have you ever caught one of those? I know that that's a trend nowadays to see baseball broadcasters catching foul balls into the booth.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that brave because depending how fast they're coming, they can break a finger or a hand.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I would just as soon dodge. Yeah, I've had them come into the booth, but I always go the opposite way. I'll let it go off the wall or the door or whatever, and I'll pick it up later.
Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Wildcats, joining us with your view from courtside. And as always, it is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Arizona now for more than 25 years. Brian, you mentioned, obviously, first trip to Foster Pavilion. Students sitting behind usually the students are kind of in the end zones at a lot of these places. What was that experience like to kind of have them right behind you guys and the Wildcat bench? How did the team deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, we've had that other places. It kind of depends on the behavior of the fans, and they were very nice. I tell you what, one thing you try and do when you get into that situation is immediately make friends with the people sitting right behind you, because if you're nice to them, they're probably going to be nice to you. And so I've always made it a point that whenever we have visiting fans or students or whoever sitting behind us, I always want to talk to them before the ball game, ask them how everything's doing, tell them how much I like their arena, and you make friends with them, and then chances are, they're going to be nice to you. And that, like I said, that was the case there. I had a couple of students trying to help me after Omer went over the table, and they were they were loud, but they were very pleasant other than that.
A lot of people are asking, Brian, with the way that the Wildcats have really turned it up at the defensive end of the floor, and we've obviously seen the emergence of Caleb Love and what he's been able to do at that end of the floor as well. If this is the best defensive team that Tommy Lloyd has had in his 4 years here at the University of Arizona, how are you seeing this defense, and how does it look different than maybe some of the other ones the last few years under Tommy?
Well, I think first things, David, is as we all know, the Big 12 is a very physical conference. And so I think Arizona knew going into the season. I remember some of the first workouts watching the team back in October. I could see right there that, the coaching staff made sure the guys understood that they had to play a physical branded defense if they wanted to survive in this conference. And I think they've done exactly that. I mean, Tommy's first team was still, I think, his best defensive team. But this one is, I think, getting to that point right now because they've learned how to be more physical without fouling, and I think that's a really important thing. You don't want to give the other team free shots. And you mentioned Caleb Love. I mean, his defense has come a long ways. Anthony Del Orso now, I think, just in the last couple of weeks, has stepped up his defense. And the other guys, I mean, KJ Lewis, I would not wish to be guarded by him no matter who I am, because he will absolutely, be as physical with you as possible. And I love looking at his stat line sometimes because, he'll score double figures. He'll give you 7 or 8 rebounds. He'll give you assists, steals, block shots. He does it all. And, those are the type of guys you really value.
Yeah, there's no question about that. It's one of the things we've talked about. He just does so many different things well for this Arizona Wildcats ball club, just a sophomore in KJ Lewis. Brian Jeffries is joining us, the voice of the Wildcats. BYU coming into town on Saturday. Arizona with a chance to get a sweep, having won in Provo just a few weeks ago. What kind of stood out from that team, BYU, that you saw there? Obviously, Igor Denman is one of the top prospects coming out of this conference. We were talking a little bit mock draft yesterday, and he is definitely a guy that's in the top 10. What impressed you about what you saw from him?
Yeah, the NBA scouts that were there in Provo, I mean, they came to see several people, but he was probably tops on their list. And you can just see that, he's got NBA written all over him, just the way he handles himself on the court, handles the ball extremely well. Offensively, I think he's going to be he's good now. I think he's going to be really good in that department. BYU as a whole, I mean, they love to shoot three-pointers. And you saw what they did to Kansas, the other day. And I think they put up 36 threes in that game, and that's what they're going to do. That's how they have kind of gotten where they are right now, and a lot of that is from Kevin Young, the head coach in his first year. He's got an NBA background, and that's what they love to do. It's kind of interesting if you look at their fast break totals. They don't rank near Arizona in terms of their fast breaks, but they do get the ball down court in a hurry, and a lot of it's just with their long passes, et cetera. And then they look for that three-point shot, and they are not afraid to take them, and they make enough of them. I think that's kind of the scary thing. The thing that helped the Wildcats up in Provo was that Arizona played good perimeter defense, and let's be honest, even Tommy mentioned it after the ball game. I mean, BYU just missed some threes in that game. They went. I can't remember what their stat was, but They did not shoot well from three-point range. And if you take a look at BYU in its losses this year versus their wins, a lot of it you could really trace to their three-point shooting, because in their 8 losses, they shoot 30% from three. In their 18 wins, they shoot 39%. And so that tells you right there that that can be the difference maker for a team like that puts up a ton of threes. And the Wildcats are going to have to be certainly on point defensively to keep them from hitting their average.
Yeah, I think 10 for 34 was what BYU was in that game up in Provo. We're joined by the voice of the Arizona Wildcats, Brian Jeffries. It is your view from courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona now for more than 25 years. Brian, it's just kind of speaking about three-pointers and where the Wildcats are offensively there in that respect. I mean, Tommy obviously came out at after the game the other night and said, "Hey, look, this is we're not the best three-point shooting team." The stats, you guys have talked about it on the broadcast. I think Ryan said, "Hey, this right now is on pace to be the worst three-point shooting team in program history." But do they need to? I mean, is that going to be a bugaboo when you get to the postseason? I mean, I've said I think there are going to be games when they get there that they're going to have to make three-point shots in order to win. Do you think they can go deep playing and not being able to shoot threes?
Well, you got to keep other teams honest. But I think maybe the best example to me was just the last game down at Baylor, where Baylor came out in that 1-3-1 zone and more or less dared the Wildcats to shoot threes. And so what did Arizona do? Well, they dissected the zone. They found guys inside. They hit twos. I mean, Del Orso, who, instead of settling for threes, found that hole in the zone, Vasar, et cetera. And then, that forced, Scott Drew to abandon the zone because Arizona was too effective against it. So now when you get down the road here, and to your point, David, when you see a team comes in and says, okay, Arizona's not a good three-point shooting team, so we're going to zone them and just dare them to shoot from outside. Well, if the Wildcats can play zone offense like they did against Baylor, then it's not going to be that big of a factor. But I do believe you've got to be able to make your share. You cannot go into a game not being able to hit threes. And Arizona's had, they made 4 at Baylor. They only took 18 shots, which I think was probably the best news of all. And so to me, that's kind of it, is, you limit the number of threes that you take, and you hope you make enough of them, again, to keep other teams honest. And Arizona's got guys we know can make threes. Caleb can make threes. Jaden Bradley, Del Orso, Carter Bryant, Henry Vasar. You could go down the list. All those guys are capable of it. And I think that's the important thing. Just make sure that you make enough that teams can't scheme against it.
Yeah, you were talking about Anthony Del Orso, and I know Tommy had come out a few weeks ago and said that, he doesn't really need Della to be a playmaker and that kind of thing. His job is to give them length and shoot the ball. But I like the way he operates around the rim. And I talked about the other night, I said, no one can deflect the defender from the ball, especially on a drive, and keep it from getting blocked, I think, better than Anthony Del Orso. He just has that skill about knowing where the defender is, knowing how to protect the ball, and get it to the rim in a position where the defender can't get a play on it. And I like that about him.
Well, he's learning. When he played at Campbell for a couple of years, I think you take a look at the difference in the level of play, and I think he's had a lot to learn. And sometimes, that's the case. I mean, you take a look at maybe a guy like Toby Awaka. Okay, he came from Tennessee, and so I just think the transition for him was a lot easier. But then Anthony, again, coming from a smaller school, moving up to a much better division, et cetera, it's just taken him a while, I think, to understand the level of play here in the Big 12, and he has, and that's the important thing. And every time I ask Tommy about what he wants to see his team do better, he says, well, everything. We need to keep improving. That's always the key. And so Anthony's a perfect example of a guy who has just continued to get better. Sometimes it's in small increments, but still, he's getting better. Offensively, I can't remember where we were. It was one of our recent road games, and Tommy, during practice, was telling Anthony, he says, catch and shoot. He just kept telling him catch and shoot because that's, his strength on the offensive end. But like you said, he's now learning that, he doesn't have to just take them from outside the arc, that he can be effective inside. So at Baylor, he took 9 shots. 5 of them, if I remember right, were threes. So that means he was 4 of 5 from twos. I'm just guessing here, but so that's it. That's a great example again of him finding other ways to score. All right, thanks. See ya.
Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Wildcats.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Southern Arizona for more than 25 years.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rocking K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Looking for unlimited gameplay all season long? Dave & Buster's is introducing the all-new Winter Season Pass. You can pick your perfect pass and play like a Dave & Buster's VIP with unlimited access to over 140 games and deals on sips and bites. Sign up now and take advantage of this incredible deal now through February 28th. Don't forget to stop in Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials and grab the all-new Winter Season Pass. There's nowhere better to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's, the best place outside the stadium to see the games this football season.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 5-star Google reviews from across Arizona, like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, deferred is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Super excited. I've heard it's a great atmosphere. They got the better of us here, but we're going to go down there and leave everything we have, both at Arizona and Arizona State.
All right, that's Dallin Hall and the BYU Cougars coming into Tucson. We are a little over 45 minutes away from tip-off at McHale Center, Arizona and Brigham Young University. Let's give you your scoreboard on today. A lot of finals to tell you about.
Let's take a look at what happened around the rest of the country. The college basketball scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, let's start with the big game in the Big 12 today. Number 5, Houston at home knocks off Iowa State 68-59. LJ Cryer had 28 points in that game, but the Cyclones played without Keyshawn Gilbert, who had a muscle strain, and Curtis Jones, who was sick. So
that's their top 2 scorers.
Yeah, exactly. Tough going today for the Cyclones, but hey, they only lost by 9. Houston now 15-1 in the Big 12 Conference. Everything is a final at this point. How about Colorado? The Buffaloes get win number 2 in conference play, 76-74, the final over Baylor. So Baylor swept on the week. They fall back to 500 at 8-8. Colorado now 2-14. Cincinnati over TCU 75-63. Number 23, Kansas gets back on the winning trail with a 96-64 victory at home over Oklahoma State. Hunter Dickinson, 16 points and 11 rebounds there. And number 9, Texas Tech keeps pace. They get a victory at home over West Virginia, 73-51. JT Toppin, 22 points and 8 rebounds.
Can I give a quick bonus score?
Sure.
So the Santa Clara Broncos beat the Washington State Cougars 109-79. Santa Clara had 15 three-pointers in the first half. Adama Ball did not play. He's got a leg injury. They finished with 23, and I had to do the math, guys. 23 three-pointers for Santa Clara today is the same as Arizona's made in their last 5 games combined.
Wow. Jeez. Nice job by Santa Clara today. Even better job by the Oregon Ducks, who go on the road. Kelvin was shocked by this one. Wisconsin was up 15 points with 7 minutes to go in this game, but the 11th-ranked Badgers lose at home to Oregon 77-73 in overtime. So that was a nice comeback there by the Ducks, who are hanging on by a thread. Nate Biddle, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocked shots in that ball game for the Ducks, who are now 9-8 in the Big Ten. Other finals today in the top 25. Number 1, Auburn beats Georgia 82-70. Janai Brom, 31 points and 14 rebounds in that game. Florida, number 2, over LSU 79-65. A battle of ranked teams today in Tuscaloosa goes to Alabama over Kentucky 96-83. Mark Sears had 30 points in that ball game. Another battle of top 10 teams. Number 7, Texas A&M falls at home to Tennessee 77-60. Chaz Lanier had 30 for the Vols in that one. Clemson, number 18, beats SMU 79-69 on the road. It was Oklahoma over number 21 Mississippi State at home 93-87. Vanderbilt knocks off 24th-ranked Ole Miss in Nashville 77-72. And it was number 25 Louisville over Florida State 89-81. Arizona baseball has won 3 games in a row, and they won today by walk-off.
And the 1-2 swung on, well hit out to center field. Howard's going back. He won't get to it. It's down, and a walk-off for the Wildcats. Aaron Walton drives in the winning run, and Arizona secured the series over San Diego.
That's our guy, Brody Dryden, with the call on ESPN Plus 5-4.
He got more energy than I do because we shared like 3 pitchers last night and shot some pool, and that was a good call, Brody. Good call.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you're kind of a pool shark.
That's the rumor.
So I wouldn't want to put any of my money on the table if I was playing you, huh?
Yeah, I think I would not play for money if you were someone who didn't play as much pool as I have.
Okay. There we go. Trick shot artist, from what I was hearing from J.W. Madden over there. Elsewhere, over at Hillenbrand Stadium, it went to extra innings between number 1 Texas and U of A. The Wildcats gave up a run in the 8th inning, and then Texas put this game away.
And there's a drive to right field, and that is gone! Caden Henry with the 3-run blast.
And Caden Henry, that is a young lady for the Texas Longhorns. They knock off the Wildcats 8-4. That snaps Arizona's win streak, which I believe was 15 games. I'll have to get the number on that to be sure. But that is over tonight as number 1 Texas beats Arizona. They'll wrap up that series tomorrow with a game against Stanford. That is, one more to tell you about. Pima basketball wins again. They are 29-0 on the season as Brian Peabody's crew knocked off Mesa today, 98-76 up at the West.
98,
Gym.
that's a low-scoring game.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't get to 100. So Pima got a win Mesa got a win just by holding them under 100 points. Now, one more game left next Saturday to go to 30-0 on the regular season for the Aztecs. Outstanding for Brian Peabody and company. That is your scoreboard.
The College Basketball Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, what do the Wildcats need to do to win tonight at home against BYU? Let's find out.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealer that is different.
All right, Arizona won by 11 up in Provo. Rematch tonight here in Tucson. 15 years after the Cougars won by 30. Will it take a Richie Saunders 40-plus point performance tonight? Quite possibly. What do you think, Kelvin, in terms of what the Wildcats need to do tonight?
Well, I think the elephant in the room, you have to stop the three-point. I don't think that's something that people probably need to know.
The Cougar in the room?
Yeah, you have to be there on the catch. I think with the way that these guys get it up in 0.5 seconds, as they said, you have to be there on the catch. Force these guys to put it on the floor and create for each other. No transition threes, no catch and shoot threes. They love to be in transition, throw it up, catch and shoot three. You have to take that away. Secondly, I think the bench must play well. They go 10 deep, 10, 11 deep. I think our 3 guys that are coming off the bench has to really play well, come in and be effective scoring the ball because they have a real scoring punch off the bench. And lastly, I think we have to score in the paint. I think the more points that we can get into the paint, put pressure on these guys to have to beat us with threes. And I just think that, that helped us get the victory last time.
J.W. Madden, what do you say?
Well, let me show the camera that I did write these down, but basically I have the exact same as Kelvin. Number 1, you got to have tough on-ball defense and stay with the shooters. Less than, I'd say, 30% from 3 is probably a decent enough number. And offensively, you got to impose your will in the paint. I'd like to see 30-plus points, maybe 15 rebounds from Vesar and Tobe Waka and Trey Townsend. And finally, I would like to see them keep Demon and Hall from doing damage because that's their 2 assist guys. We know about the shooters. We know there's multiple guys on this team who can hit from deep, but those 2 guys are the ones who are going to make it happen. They average about 10 assists per game. I'd like to see that more around the 5-6 range. And conversely, I'd also like to see Arizona get in those passing lanes, get about 10 or more steals in this game, and that will definitely lead to a Wildcat victory versus the Cougars.
All right, well, I'm going to give them a little bit more of a high percentage on that 3 than you gave them. I said I think you need to hold them under 35. You said 30. I said 35. They can make 10. That's fine. I know that's what Jay Drew said. He thought 10 was going to be the magic number. I'm fine. That's what they did last time. They made 10, but they took 34 and shot under 30. So that could be the number, but I'm willing to stretch that to 35 tonight because the Wildcats are at home. And I think that they can withstand that number anyway. And basically the same thing as what you guys said. Don't get lost on the switch, especially the bigs have to make sure that they know who they have tonight. We talked about that early in the show. Know who's coming off those screens and make sure that you are on your man. And Kelvin talked about the bigs making shots in the paint. I want to see them also maybe make a few mid-range shots off the paint because BYU is going to want to pack it in. That's what they did to beat Kansas. If you have that 8 to 10 foot jumper, don't be afraid to take that tonight if you're Trey Townsend or Toby Awaka or Kenry Vasar as well. All right, those are the things we think the Wildcats need to do to win tonight against BYU.
Wildcat fans, those are our keys to the game. Brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different. The foundation of a great basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature.
Your starters, Jaden Bradley, 6'3" guard out of Rochester, New York, 12 points, sitting on 99 assists for the season. Caleb Love, 6'4", fifth-year guard out of St. Louis, Missouri. He is the leading scorer at 16 points per ball game. Anthony Del Orso, 6'6" guard out of Melbourne, Australia, 8 points, shooting 41% from three-point land. That leads the team. Henry Vasar, if he gets the start tonight, 7 feet, redshirt sophomore out of Tallinn, Estonia. Henry Vasar averaging 9 points and 5 rebounds this season. Toby Awaka at the other forward, 6'8", junior out of Hyde Park, New York, 8 points, 8 rebounds this season. A master at the offensive end, averaging almost 3 offensive rebounds per ball game. Those are your starters under Tommy Lloyd in his 4th season, and that wraps up our show. Thanks to everybody that joined us. Coming up next, it's number 19, Arizona, and BYU, the rematch. Brian Jeffries, Ryan Hansen will have the call. We'll talk to you after the ball game. Bear down, Arizona. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne, The Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Door and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's cold outside and you need safe, reliable heat for you and your family. For a limited time, Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing is offering a free furnace with the purchase of a qualifying HVAC split system. For fast, reliable service, call Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
You know, it's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and the spider, scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors.